are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Yes, sir. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this live edition of the Uptempo Podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Smith, joined as I am every Sunday. My guy, Nick Frazier, in the building. Took a couple of weeks off, but damn it, I missed you guys. I missed talking about football. Picked a good time, Nick. Not a whole lot happened, but we are going to get into it. There have been some commitments. We had Big Cat weekend yesterday. Are there any commitments coming on the other side of that? We'll kind of talk about the state of Auburn's recruiting class. Talk about what prospects we like so far that are committed, what else we want to see added to the class. And also in our second segment, I have yet to share my thoughts on the 24-team college football playoff expansion discussion. I've got dozens of DMs, people wanting to hear my input on this topic. I'm going to give it. I think most of y'all will not be surprised by my stance on that, but I'm excited to get in here and kind of discuss all that. And we might even talk a little bit, if we have time, about this one particular head coach that has never won a playoff game, but yet for some reason he continues. It baffles me. I don't understand it. If Nick Saban's and the Urban Meyers, and I know those guys are retired now, but those are the examples of those guys. If they, hell, let's even use guys currently, Dan Lanning and Ryan Day, Dabo Sweeney. I can understand those guys driving conversation. They got wins. Mm-hmm. But there's this clown in Baton Rouge that just keeps getting on his unicycle, spinning around in circles, blowing his little air horn, and everyone pays attention. And I don't quite get it because he hasn't won anything. He's won nothing. So glad. Boy, it has been a rough 5 years for Auburn sports. I will tell you one good thing, or for football. I will tell you one good thing that's happened in Auburn football in the past 5 years. Dodge that Lane Kiffin bullet. Woo! We got close because I don't even know if I could put up with it with the wins. But let's talk about this class, man. I can't with it.
Man, he said,
"Go." We got close. Now here's the bad part though, Nick. We dodged one. And then we turn around and caught another one.
Caught another with his shoulder.
Oh.
You caught one in the shoulder. You caught him in the shoulder.
Yeah. We still, freeze effect. Freeze warning indeed. We still got hit with a little something. But we thawed out now, baby. We thawed out. Let's talk about some of these. Gary Chapman Jr., who's I want to discuss. I know this is late news, guys, but I have been on a break. I did the film breakdown for our members yesterday. 3-star, 6 foot, 190 pounds out of Snellville, Georgia. Nick, when I did the film review, I think the big thing that stood out to me, as it stood out for a couple of the, there's a wide receiver as well, Braylon, that committed, the 4-star composite receiver, 6'2", 205. Really loved his tape. We'll talk more about him in a second. But what I see in these is fit. The one thing that really stood out to me in Gary's film is that big arm.
Yeah.
He made some really big throws. There's some comeback routes on the other side of the field that he's able to complete.
Yep.
There's a couple of plays down the field where he's got enough time and he kind of sets his feet and really uncorks one. And then you're like, oh, goodness, that ball's still going. That's kind of what I see there. That big arm and then the mobility. I mean, he's got almost a Le'Veon Bell type patience in the pocket from the quarter. I know there's a different position, but there's a couple of runs that he made where he kind of just tucked the ball, waited a little bit, and then popped through the hole. It was just different to see a quarterback kind of take that, have that ability. Thought that was pretty interesting, but he's got the ability to make things happen with his legs, got a big cannon. So it appears to me to be a fit for the offense. I think the question about this would be, we know that Auburn had other targets on the board. Me and you were at the Senior Bowl when Auburn was heavily pursuing Israel Abrams. Alex Golesh had just returned. We were waiting on him to get back from the airport from visiting Israel, right? And the whole buzz there that we were hearing was we were really close there. Miami got involved. All of a sudden, Auburn kind of fell out the picture. You had the whole Will Mental situation. So I was kind of at the point with it, buddy, to where I was like, I don't know if Auburn's even going to take a quarterback in this class because they don't necessarily have to. I mean, if Tristan Tia establishes himself this year as the next man up, then – would you even how much sense would it have even made to go spend a big NIL package on a Will Mental or that type of guy that was going to demand that kind of money? You saw Abrams ends up going to Miami. Menzel ends up going to Oregon. Like, I'm sure they were paid handsomely by those two programs to do that. If Tristan Tia develops into that guy, is that a route that Auburn needs to go? So I just think it's a very interesting kind of the way I view quarterback recruitment a lot different now. And I'm going to ask you about the player first. And then this kind of second part of it is just how do you kind of look at quarterback recruiting out of high school? Because for me now, what I've seen, and I know that like Auburn hasn't been good at quarterback, so turnover is inevitable. But I see all across the country where a lot of these guys, it's like they committed, and you don't even know if they're ever going to play for that original team that they're to. I remember we can go back to the Walker White, where we felt like you have to get a quarterback to build your class out because this is a guy that is going to be the team leader of that class in a few years. We've kind of learned now as the portal and NIL era, we've got a few more years down the road into it. That's not really the case. Like that quarterback's probably not going to be the guy for those particular players in that class. Unless he comes in and he's just an absolute baller. So for me, it kind of makes sense because if I look at Auburn's quarterback room as a whole, I think they really believe in Tristan Tia. I'm high on Tristan Tia. He's got a lot of eligibility left. If I had to guess sitting here on May 17th, I don't think Lachlan Hewlett will be on Auburn's roster the following season. Like and a lot of football left to go, you know, but like as of now, Tristan Tia and him are in the same eligibility bracket, and Tristan Tia has established himself ahead of Lachlan Hewlett, and Lachlan Hewlett came with this staff. So like it feels like right now he's fighting an uphill battle. When Brown graduates this year, I'm anticipating some kind of portal addition to bring in somebody with experience into that room to at least compete with Tia. Now let's just say Tia, and all the times we get to see him this year, and hopefully it's a lot, hopefully Auburn's up by a lot, and hopefully that they see him in practice to where they feel comfortable with it, then that kind of you have a discussion of what exactly kind of portal quarterback you go and take. But to me, when I look at this and kind of projecting out in the future, a guy whose biggest other offers are West Virginia and Iowa State, I do think after watching the tape, right now he's the 1,100th ranked player in the country. I think that will change. Playing in a region there in Georgia, in that area in particular, where there's a lot of good high school ball. He's going to have eyes on him, committed to an SEC school. He's going to have eyes on him. I'm saying a lot here to say I think this commitment makes sense. I don't think Auburn broke the bank in the NIL because they didn't have to. There wasn't a big demand for Gary Chapman. I think it's kind of one of those gym things where they feel like all the tools are there. And if Tristan T is that guy, Nick, then they can wait a couple of years on Gary Chapman to develop. And one thing that Alex Golis has repeatedly said, Alex Golis has done the interview circuit. One thing he has repeatedly said in every interview I've watched with him is we want to get guys that want to be here. And I know that sounds like a no shit kind of thing, but he talks about whenever he met with guys when he met with the previous team, he asked a lot of them, why did you come to Auburn? And he said they had a whole lot of reasons that didn't have nothing to do with Auburn. I'll translate that for you. Hugh Freeze threw a bag at me. That's what that means. Not every situation, right? But like we know that in a lot of situations for these big time recruits, Auburn was just going, hey, what's it take to get you here? And I'm not knocking that approach, especially from a guy like Hugh Freeze that is from the older model, and now this new model kind of gets dropped in. And even in the older model, Hugh Freeze was to throw the bad guy at you. It's
sure it was
legal time, right? But
sure it was.
He will do that. And I'm not knocking that per se, but we kind of saw the culture that it built. I just think Alex Golis is being really intentional in the kind of guys that he's bringing here, and we've seen Auburn pony up NIL wise for a couple of guys, like the big running back that committed. My sources have told me to get across the finish line on that one, Auburn made sure they had the funds to do it. So I think they're being kind of particular in the way they go about things here. I don't know, go ahead and let y'all know right now. Up until last night, I paid zero attention for the 2 weeks I was out. I took a complete break. I called some people last night to check on Big Cat, and then I watched the film on all the guys that had committed. So I don't know what y'all talked about over there at Water Cooler, brother, because I ain't watched anybody's shows. But what are your thoughts on the player Gary Chapman? What did you see on the tape? And then like how he kind of fits into Auburn in the future?
Gary Chapman is going to be, in the words you used him already, a gem. Under recruited guy. Let's just be real about this. Rankings and recruiting rankings and the recruiting circuit is all about money. It's all about how much exposure you can get. It's all about how many camps you can go to, how many eyes can you get in front of in that summer part of the off season, to where people that do that for a living can write stories about you and say that this guy's the next one. And
we need some stories right now, Nick.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And be like, this guy's arm is amazing. Oh my God, his physique is amazing. He's built like this. That's what the recruiting circuit is. And he probably just hasn't had the opportunity to be able to get in front of those major camps. Like, there are camps all around, but in the major camps, where some of the national guys that write about this on a daily basis probably have not had the opportunity to see him. Now that he is committed to an Auburn, an SEC school, one of the 13th winningest program in college football. Auburn is a major player and is a major brand. Teams will start taking a look. Teams will take a look. His measurables are there: 6 feet. He's probably 5'11", probably 190 pounds. Teams are gonna look at that and see exactly what it is, and from that nature, and see exactly what it is. Because if he does pop this year, don't think that other major schools won't come in and try to poach him away from this recruiting class. So getting him right now, and developing that relationship with him is valuable. Relationships still matter in the recruiting world. Money is still a part of it. It's still a factor, but those relationships still matter to some degree. And, now that you were one of the bigger programs that was able to offer him at the beginning, and, kind of solidify yourself and say, we want you to be here. We think we have a plan to basically get you on the field potentially and play. I think that matters. Now, to your point about the quarterback and do you need a quarterback in every class? I want to say I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I want to say I was one of the first people. I know for a fact it had to be like January of 2025 when I said, I don't think you need a quarterback in every single class. I don't think you need one. And here's the reason why I said that. I said it because of the fact that the more that this sport starts teetering and tilting towards professional, like the professional model when it comes with money, and let's just be real about it. Whenever money is invested or enthralled or whatever adjective you want to use into something, it becomes professional, and then people's perspectives on things change because now perceived value has a spot at the table. Whenever this sport started trending towards a more professional model than what it is, at that point in time, you have to start looking at the pros and cons of how is this allocation of funds or this investment, is it worth putting in this area this amount of money in this area, or can I take that and spread it across another area on a roster that can actually help us win games? I liken it to the NBA, or even let's stick with football. Let's stick with football. In football, the line of scrimmage wins a lot of games. If you have majority of your money or majority of your salary cap tied up into the line of scrimmage, and you have depth there, more than likely you're gonna be able to outlast some people in some games and stuff of that nature. If you are weak in that area, most of the times you may be able to hang close with some teams, but when it comes down to the end, because there will be more bodies, there'll be more depth, there'll be more fresh. You may end up being close a lot. It just is what it is. But I mean, I last year I looked at it and I said, man, I don't think that you have to get a top tier quarterback in every single class. I don't think you have to get a 5-star quarterback in every class. I also looked at it and said that I think the over recruiting of those guys at the quarterback position, in my opinion, is a signal of coaches not being able to trust their own evaluations of what they can potentially develop and quarterbacks that they want to get in certain classes. Now, star ratings are very, very subjective. Very subjective star ratings. Jackson Arnold was a 5-star plus guy. Jared Curtis is a 5-star plus guy. Still to be determined of what he will be. He will be potentially the starter at Vanderbilt this year. But we have seen what Jackson Arnold has been in 2 seasons of football. Now, granted, there are other circumstances around that
he's not
good. I was trying to get the man the benefit of the doubt. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But to that point, star ratings to a degree don't matter. It's a very subjective. It is a very, very subjective category and ranking of that people look at and say that, oh, he's a 5-star guy, he should come in and be that guy. Well, a lot of 5 stars don't pan out. The NFL is littered with a lot of 3-star guys that were role players or contributors on teams at smaller universities and colleges, in a lot of non-Power 4 schools. A lot of non-Power 4 schools have a lot of guys in the NFL. Now, yes, the SEC and the Big Ten has led that charge in the past couple of years with a lot of guys being drafted, but Puka Nacua, 4-star guy that played not in the Power 4, or anything of that nature. You look at those type of guys and you sit back and say, there is gems and there is value that you can get. But to the point of the quarterback, yeah, I agree. I agree to a extent that you don't have to get a quarterback in every single class. I think coaching evaluation is going to be more prevalent and more important in this era of college football than the era before the transfer portal and NIL. Because at that particular time, you have a lot of teams that were just stacked with just what a lot of people said were 5 stars. And if you missed on one of those 5 stars, there was another guy that was rated as a 5-star that can come in and potentially could pan out at that position and be what he was and be what his rating said that he was at that particular point in time. So I get it. But now, because of the stratification of money across college football, because of the fact that guys are jumping in the portal now and going to get the bag somewhere else, and because of the fact that there's just a bunch of money that's being spent around in the sport itself, and guys want to get on the field and play and get film, evaluation is going to be a lot more important from college coaches, from college recruiting staffs, that support staff that is around the head coach and the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator and those staffs. Those guys that are actually looking at these guys, the ones that people are sending tape to, the Jarris McIntyres of the world. That's a high school relations guy for Auburn. A lot of tape, I'm pretty sure, is being sent to him from a lot of college coaches or a lot of guys that are connected with a lot of guys. Having guys like that can actually look at it and look at tape and spot talent and be like, this is a guy that wasn't on our radar, but maybe we need to take a look at this guy and be like, he could possibly come in and help us. And then that evaluation from that particular point, that evaluation is going to be more critical. And then not just evaluate, but then having a plan for that guy to say, all right, this is where you are right now. This is what we do. And this is where I feel like we can get you to elevate your game from here to here, so that you now have the opportunity, for one, help us win football games here, and then potentially set you up for the future to get to where you want to get to next in your career. Because your career, if you are good enough, will not just stop at college football. It's an opportunity that your career can advance towards, the NFL or the UFL or the Canadian Football League or wherever there is professional football at. So how do we evaluate the talent, see exactly where they are right now, and then have that plan to where, now this is what we will do to help get you to this point, to help us win games, and then have a plan of like, all right, now that we've gotten you here, this is where I can get you to the next level. That is the trajectory that all college football programs should be on, in my opinion. Not just saying how can you help us win games, but how can you help us win games and help this young man get to the next level in his career. And so, yeah, you're gonna have to say no to a lot of guys. You're gonna have to look at a lot of those guys that are highly rated 4 stars, highly rated 5 stars. And if that evaluation of where they are right now, and you don't feel like that development is going to help your team win, you can get him to the next level, you may have to say no to him. And that's the one thing that I think Alex Golesh and this coaching staff is going to be willing to do.
Yeah, you said a lot of good stuff there. I think for me, the way I've always viewed, like, let's pull up this question here and kind of take it this direction. And if you're over on X, go ahead. I'll bring up this comment from X. We don't normally do, but this is a good question. But if you're over on X, go ahead and hop on over here on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. But I do appreciate all y'all tuned in on X as well. War Eagle asks, can Auburn finish a top 9 recruiting class? So I'm going to go a couple different directions with this before I answer the question. I think for me, the way that I've always viewed stars is I don't judge the whole star or the overall ranking by individual.
Okay.
What do I mean by that? So, like, I look at them all differently. Like, I looked at Elijah Melendez and I said, whoever watches this and thinks this is a 3-star, probably needs some help.
Yeah,
I disagree with their evaluation highly. Ty Buster, I watched that one and I said, this is an interior offensive lineman. He's just getting a 3-star because he's an interior offensive lineman. Connor Liu was a 4-star in some places, 3-star in other. I was very high on Connor from the jump. He was going to be a center. They're not going to rank a center highly. Doesn't mean he's not a good football player. Dante Core, who I think you're going to see get some time at Ole Miss, coming in as a redshirt freshman this year. I remember watching him in person and saying, this is a high 4-star.
Yep.
But I understand why, why guys can slip through the cracks and get the 3-star. Where I do say that rankings matter is in totality. So I'm not going to look at one 3-star and say that guy can't play football because they said he's a 3-star. I'm going to watch him and get my own evaluation. Now, if we get to the end of the class and you've got 20 commitments and 16 of them are 3-stars and you've only got a handful of 4 or higher, and you're in the 30s of recruiting, that's when I say stars matter.
Okay.
I don't look at it individually, go by player, and say, okay, well, you know what? Like, I will look at it individually and make my own judgment off of each player. But there is a correlation. Now, Indiana's kind of doing something different, but but they also played Miami. So, like, let's not act like there's a whole new way of doing things. Like, Cignetti just broke the mold. He did things a certain kind of way. But the team that he played in the championship is also an accumulate high-level talent, spend the money kind of team. We talked about that at the time, kind of different philosophies and how to build a roster competing was really fascinating there. There hasn't been a whole lot of teams over the course of the history of college football that didn't have high-ranked recruiting classes to win a national championship. Like, there's a certain level to it. So if Auburn finishes... Like, say, if Auburn finishes 7th in recruiting versus 12th, I don't put that much of a difference on that. Okay. But now, between 7th and 20th, okay.
Is that still a difference, though?
The portal has kind of changed some of that, and in terms of, like, what do you need? Now, I think services are starting to include the portal in their final ranking. I don't know. The portal's kind of flipped everything on its head. But yeah, I do think that there's levels to it. Like, I do think there's in my opinion, yeah, there's a certain degree of, we want to kind of be in this range. You definitely don't want to be outside that top 20, top 25, in my opinion, unless you're just crushing it in the portal and you're, and you're just incredible when you get on to the actual X's and O's of it. I mean, and you even saw with the guy that I just kind of talked a little crap about, Lane Kiffin, but I'm going to give him his credit as a head coach. Like, you kind of saw here him still make a move to go to LSU despite success at Ole Miss, because he felt like, I've kind of tapped out the level of athlete I can get at Ole Miss. And if I go to LSU, I can get a higher, whether that's right or not, Nick, that's another discussion.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But in his mind, Louisiana, LSU, I can get the best of the best here. I can have the most money, the most resources to kind of go up another step, right?
Mhm.
So for me, to answer this question about one, can Auburn finish with a top 9 recruiting class? I'm going to say that doesn't happen this year. And I'm going to tell you why I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think it has anything to do with Alex Golesh. The reason why I don't think Auburn's going to finish top 9 in recruiting this year, I don't want to see Auburn finish outside the top 20. I want to be clear on that. Unless it's like they sign 14 or 15 guys, and I look at it and I say, well, that's a solid 15, and then they're going to hit the portal or whatever. But, like, I do want to see some high-ranked guys get into this class, okay? Because, again, in the aggregate, I think that the results have shown over time that does matter. The teams that do better in the recruiting rankings, there's usually a correlation between wins and losses. I know that you look at them. Look, we'll have this discussion. Let me finish this thought here.
Go ahead.
With Auburn and why I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think there's been serious damage done to Auburn's reputation. I think Auburn was kind of like, so remember when Hugh Freeze's message outside of we're going to give you a lot of money. Hugh Freeze's message was come back to Auburn and we're going to help restore the glory. Come back to Auburn. This is a traditional powerhouse that has fallen on hard times. We're going to be the ones. We're going to be the ones to get this thing back right. That was his message on the trail for the last 3 years. And it didn't get right. It fell flat on its face. In some ways, the way that Auburn was losing games may have hurt Auburn worse than getting blown out. Because they got talked about. Because they were because they were so spectacular. Like these were incredible losses. Losses where you had to look at them and say, like,
I get what you're saying.
Did you try to do that?
I get what you're saying.
It became national news every week. Did you see how Auburn lost this week? Like they did it again.
Yeah.
If you were just getting blown out, people go, you suck.
Yeah.
And they move on.
Yeah.
But Auburn the last 2 years has made it must-see TV. Tune in the fourth quarter to see how Auburn screws up. They might forget a 2-minute warning exists. They might be running it down your throat and decide to throw it. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Cam Coleman might say, here's the iron bowl. I don't want it. You have no idea what's going to go on other than Auburn's going to lose. That, on top of what I've said on this since I've started the show, everyone wants to dress up the Gus Malzahn era like it was so freaking awesome, when in reality, he only had one season where he didn't lose at least 4 games. Auburn was mid.
Yeah.
And then Auburn has sucked.
Yeah.
There's nobody right now in high school that remembers Cam Newton. There's nobody right now that Auburn's recruiting that remembers the kick six. We're so far removed from all of that. You also just spent a lot of money. I mean, Hugh Freeze had Auburn finishing in the 6th and 7th his first 2 years in recruiting. So Auburn was a major player on the recruiting trail, out there spinning that tail of come here and help. And we've got the money. And it fell flat on its face in embarrassing fashion. I say all that to say, not to rehash bad memories, not to poop on our favorite team, but in terms of recruiting, for just a high school prospect that has no love or no relation to Auburn, they look at Auburn right now going, they don't know how to win over there. We are now in a phase. Auburn has been bad enough for so long that I'm telling y'all, I talk to their parents, I talk to the recruits. They look at Ole Miss in a higher status than Auburn.
Okay.
That's where we're at. I know that's tough for us to swallow. I'm not just talking about a 1-year runoff. Oh, they were better last year. No, they now view Ole Miss as a better overall football program than Auburn. Because that's just how bad Auburn's been. So I say all that to say, I think Alex Golesh and Auburn, whoever was at Auburn, is now in a show me phase. That's just where it's at. They're going to have to actually win games on the field and produce. There's no more, well, come here. We're like the 5th salesman to come to the door, and the first 4 have promised something that didn't happen. It's like if they couldn't get in. It's like, so say you're in your house and you have bad internet. I'm going through this right now out here in the woods. And say Mediacom comes through and they say, we're going to get your internet fixed out here. And you try Mediacom and it doesn't work. And then Cox comes through and they tell you, we're going to get you fixed out here. And you try Cox, it doesn't work. The inspector comes through and they're going to, by the time AT&T shows up, you're like, man, I'll wait. I'll wait and see. And if my internet actually works, I'll be excited. Right?
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
I think that's kind of where some of these guys are. They're going to come visit Auburn, man. They're going to listen to Auburn. Why wouldn't you? It's an amazing place. The money is there if Auburn wants to give it to you. All of that stuff. It is, like you always say, one of the 13 most winning programs. The Heismans are there. The national championship trophies are there right when you walk into the recruiting center. It's all there. They know all that. But you've got to give them something now. They've got to see Auburn win now. And I think that the reputation outside of Auburn and even inside of Auburn at this point, but I don't underestimate how goofy people view Auburn right now. Like Auburn is viewed as goofy.
I agree.
They can't tie their own shoes over there without tripping over it. That's how the outside world views it. So until Auburn kind of smacks that down, like I don't think Auburn has a big top 10 recruiting class like this. Where we're going, this is a very long answer. I don't think Auburn gets to that until they have a good season again. I just think that's where that's at.
Okay, I agree with you. Two quick points. Recency is very important. I agree with you there. Like you said, anybody in high school right now doesn't remember the kick six. They don't remember Cam Newton. But that's what's shown on the Jumbotron every time you go to Auburn. That's a long time ago. So yeah, I agree with you. You have to stay current in college football because that age gap of recruits are changing all the time, and that experience of what they view is changing all the time. So you want to be relevant. You know, every 3 to 4 years, you want to have a team that has done something significant in college football. If not, make it to the college football playoff 3 to 4 times in a 4-year period, or 2 to 3 times in a 4-year period. You need that relevancy there as well. Now, to the point about this right here, you said something where you said that a lot of teams that have been winners or have won in college football have had top recruiting classes. Okay, we just saw Indiana this past season that did not have a top recruiting class win a national championship. We saw Michigan, who had a lot of older guys, a very elder, like these past two national championship teams have been very elder veteran type guys that have been on teams. Ohio State is probably the last one that had like a lot of like former highly rated 5-star, 4-star guys on their roster. I'm curious to know if let's say a team like Duke or a team like North Carolina, and this is just hypothetically speaking, like I'm not saying that these teams will do it, but let's just say a team like that is not highly rated, comes out, does not have a highly rated recruiting class, comes out and wins the national championship this year. Would that change your perspective on the data of what we've had? Because majority of the data that we're talking about right now, when we talk about teams that have won national championships, is pre-NIL, pre-transfer portal. But we are starting to look at the data change now. When you look at that Michigan team, when you look at that Indiana team, when you look at that, and we talk about blue chip ratios, like Michigan still had a blue chip ratio, but it was a lower blue chip ratio, and that blue chip ratio is starting to trend down a lot now. If a team like one of those teams that I just mentioned comes out and wins the national championship this year, does that flip your analysis of having to have highly rated classes to win national championships moving forward?
So we talked about this, I believe it was either like right after Golis was hired or right there maybe before, when we were talking about certain coaches that were coming into the mix here. And I used the analogy of Major League Baseball, where you're going to have the Dodgers, your Texas Techs.
Yeah, I remember this conversation.
Your Oregons, right?
Yeah.
To where we're going to go buy everybody. And you can win that way because you're going to go get talented players. And obviously that can help you win. You're going to have teams like my Tampa Bay Rays who don't have any money, and have to play this money ball kind of thing, and they go about it that way. And they haven't won any World Series. When you look at their payroll and their overall win-loss record over the last decade, it's pretty impressive. They found a way to make it happen. I think that pre-NIL and everything, we know what it was. You talked about it a minute ago. Nick Saban, those kind of guys. Kirby Smart. You've seen Kirby Smart still be a great football coach, still win games, but all of a sudden he's not going 11-1, 12-0 every year because he doesn't have all those 5 stars like you talked about. They're stacking them up. And if this guy doesn't bust, or if this guy does bust, guess what? I got another one behind him. He was a second-ranked player at that position in the class. I bet he doesn't bust too.
Or Kirby Smart has not won a playoff game since he's won the national championship in 2022.
Yeah. I mean, I think that to answer your question, it's becoming less important. But like, so when I look at but I still think it matters. It's just, I think there's more avenues. I think there's more routes. I would be careful looking at Cignetti and saying we can do that too. Maybe you can, but like,
that's a fair point.
And maybe he's a trailblazer. And maybe we look back in 15 or 20 years and we go, hey man, Cignetti was the first one. I also think that he's probably just that dude. And that when he's just that guy, right? And I think you be careful trying to replicate that. Like, I'm just going to go do what Barry Bonds is doing. Well, it's kind of hard to do. You got to have certain traits, right? So like when I look at Michigan here, this is according to Google's AI, but you've got 2022, they were ranked 9th nationally in recruiting. 2023, they were ranked 17th, and then 2024, the 15th. So to your point, 9th right there, kind of the best, highest ranked class. Trying to keep it within the time frame there where they kind of won the national title. But that kind of goes to my point. If they weren't out of the mix,
I get what you're saying.
Like they weren't 32nd.
I get what you're saying.
There's the lowest ranked one here, 2023, is 17th. Yes, I do think that. So pre-NIL, pre-portal, I think you would have had to be an excellent coach that had the 17th ranked recruiting class at a school like Auburn, and expect to beat Georgia and Alabama and compete for the SEC title. Now that we're in an NIL transfer portal era, I think you can finish 17th in recruiting at a school like Auburn, crush the portal, and win a national championship. Now, let's pull up Miami, a team that has got significantly better under Mario Cristobal year by year and just finished runner-up for the national championship. 2022, 16th ranked class. 2023, 17th ranked class. 2024, 14th ranked class. 2025, 2022, 16th ranked. 2023, number 7. 2024, number 4. Last year, 14th ranked class. So little bit higher up there, right? Now look at this in their conference, Nick. 2022, number 1. 2023, number 1. 2024, number 1. They clearly have the most talent in their conference, and they're running through their conference now. So it's one of the things where it's not the only avenue, and I'm not going to look at it if Auburn finishes. Well, I'm gonna use 17th. If Auburn finishes 17th in recruiting this year, I'm not going to go, oh my gosh, what's happening here? If they finish 34th, I will be displeased.
I get you. I get what you're saying. So what number? So moving forward, what number would that be for Auburn? Is it 25? Is it 20? Is it 18? Because what we just this is, ladies, this is unofficial data. We have not researched this all the way thoroughly yet. But the number that I'm getting in my head based off what we just did when we looked at all of those teams is somewhere between 11th and 16th is where you need to be in recruiting in order to compete for a national championship. Now, I agree with that, but does that change now with, and I know we get ready to talk about the expansion of the playoffs in a few and playoff things, but does that change to actually competing for a national championship or just making the college football playoff? Like, what is that? Like, does that number change? Like, is that 11 through 16 just to be like, all right, we have an opportunity to make the college football playoff and potentially make some noise, but do you still have to be top 7 in order to be one of the real contenders to win a national championship?
Yeah, my response to that, buddy, would be, what's your schedule?
Okay.
If you're Auburn and all the other teams that you're playing are on that list and they're high up, I think you got to be in the ballpark with them.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like Miami, you out recruited Duke, you out recruited NC State. Go do your thing, baby.
But what if an SMU just comes out and wins the national championship this year? Like, SMU is not a highly rated. It doesn't have a highly rated recruiting class. Like, if an SMU comes in the ACC and wins the ACC, just makes a run in the playoffs. That's 2 years back to back that we have two teams that have just kind of flipped that narrative on the head. And at what point in time do we actually look at it and just be like, we might have to look at this a little bit differently?
I think we got to look at it a little bit differently now. But I think we're learning in real time as the sport has changed. Like you stated earlier, there's a lot more data for the pre-NIL Porta era. So we're still kind of learning. And again, I just think you're going to see different models of how to do it. For me personally, I just think there's a baseline somewhere.
I got you.
Like, if SMU came out and did that, Rhett Lashley's going to get paid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really fascinating, man. It's really fascinating. For me, somebody who was so entrenched in the old ways of recruiting, and recruiting was always my favorite part of college football. I've had to do a mental reset on a lot of this stuff, and it's hard. At the same time, knowing that it still matters. Like, it still matters a ton. You still have to get talented guys in there. I think one thing too is, let's see, like, if this Auburn staff is maybe first on some of these evaluations, where there is like, so there is a receiver in Braylon Odor. I believe that's how you say his name. He committed. I think we talked about him on the last show right before the break, but I just did the film breakdown yesterday for the members, so I haven't spoke a whole lot about him. He's a composite 4-star. 247 has him ranked as a 3-star. He's not the highest ranked guy in the world at the time. I promise you, this year, he's going to get big offers. He's going to skyrocket up the rankings. I think this is an evaluation that Auburn was early on. When we look at the current commitment group of Myson Johnson-Cook, the 4-star running back, Donovan Moore, a 4-star defensive lineman, and you've got George Lamons, tight end, Braylon Odor, wide receiver, Jalen Moore, interior offensive lineman, and Gary Chapman, the quarterback we talked about. The last 4 of those are 3-stars. Now, again, some services have Braylon Odor as a 4-star. He has a composite 4-star. But like, when I turn on that film of Braylon Odor, what I see is a player that Auburn's going to have to fight off schools for down the stretch. Like, I think Auburn was first, or early, at least very early, on this eval of a top guy. And Will Mental, even though Auburn didn't land him, they were one of the first staffs to offer him way back at South Florida. They were super early on him. So if Warsaw and Golish and this staff, if they kind of got that eye, then it's like, and we don't know this now because he hasn't coached a game yet, but let's say 3 years down the line, we say, you know what? AG usually gets Auburn around 15th in the recruiting. But we have enough data to know that some of his 3-stars, he's actually got a good eval on, and they're better than that. Now, we don't have those data points yet, but if we get to that point, then we can kind of view it a little bit differently. I think it's such a fascinating conversation to have, because the norms have been flipped on their head, and we're all kind of learning in real time here how the sport is changing and what it all means. And we're going to talk about some more of that here in just a second. We're going to get to some of you guys' comments. Nick, but real quick, I want to get your thoughts before we pivot. Of these guys, Myson Johnson-Cook, Donovan Moore, George Lamons, Braylon Odor, Jalen Moore, Gary Chapman Jr., And which one of these guys kind of excites you? Is there any one of these guys you got your eye on and you're like, man, this is just not even like a projection or anything like that, but just like a favorite? Like I'll tell you right now, when I turn on Odor's tape of the 6 guys committed, he's my favorite. He's my favorite right now because he's just a football player. He does. I mean, there's probably 7 or 8 cut-ups of him pancaking people from the wide receiver position. And he's one of those guys that I love a wide receiver that can take a 6-yard slant and turn it into a 65-yard gain. And then he's also got really good body control. You see a high IQ, good hands, big physical route runner. I think he's a perfect fit for this offense. I think he's a very underrated prospect that I'm telling you guys is going to shoot up the rankings, and there's going to be some big programs come in this thing. Auburn's going to have to kind of fight off towards the end of his recruitment. I think he's a riser. I absolutely love his tape, and I think Auburn was pretty early on the eval there. And I say that, and he's a composite 4-star, so it's not like he's slept on. But right now, of the 6 guys committed, that's my favorite. And we do believe there were some national predictions going in for a Kareem Palmer. Linebacker. Seems like he's probably going to commit sometime very, very soon and join the class as well. Something that probably happened yesterday at Big Cat. So just kind of as you look at this class right now, anybody you got your eye on?
George Lammons. I think, I think looking at a tight end guy. Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, I think having a guy that is that versatile at that position causes a matchup problem for opposing defenses, especially now that you have a lot of defenses that like to run a 4-2-5. So they like to have that star position on the field that can kind of, is either a linebacker that can play close to the line of scrimmage or is a safety that can play linebacker. And if you have a guy that size, that big, that fast, that strong, that can be a mismatch problem for both of those guys. He could be faster than potentially that, edge linebacker player. And he could be stronger than potential that safety linebacker type player there. And even if a team goes to a 3-3-5 look or a 3-3-5 look or where they can have 3 safeties on the field, or something of that nature, having a guy that can kind of come in the middle of the field and kind of work the middle of the hashes of the field, inside the numbers of the field. And that's a big body receiver as well, because there was a thing last year when Auburn played Baylor, where everybody kept saying Baylor's sitting in that cover 2. We shouldn't throw the football. I was like, you can't throw the football against cover 2, right? The middle of the field is open, because more than likely in cover 2, you're gonna get the 2 safeties that are gonna play a half of the field. That's gonna leave the middle of the field open. So if you can have a weapon that can attack that part of the field, unless the defense is running some type of Tampa 2 coverage where the middle linebacker is going to drop back and take the middle part of that field deep, there's still an underneath route underneath there where there's still space to where you can work that and kind of play the middle of that field and have and if you have a body big enough that can come in there and exploit that, you can exploit a lot of defenses like that. So having a guy that can kind of do that, I'm gonna just say the name, Michael Trigg. Michael Trigg worked Auburn last year against Baylor. Like, we talk about that Baylor game, but that was a 17-10 game at halftime, ladies and gentlemen. That's what that was. Now, Auburn did come out in the second half and run the football, and they ended up winning that game by 14 points, 17 points or something like that. But at halftime,
stops on 4th down.
Exactly. But at halftime, that was a 17-10 game. Let's just be real about it. That was a close game at halftime. And Michael Trigg had a lot to do with it as well. So I tell you, man, I'm excited about him for the potential, because what he can do and how big of a mismatch problem he could be in between the numbers and in the hash in the middle of the field, in between the hashes, and the fact that Golish was a tight ends coach as well. So it'll be good to see exactly what they can do with that type of athlete. And could he play that inside part? Could he step outside and play outside the numbers as well too? He could be a big body target. He could be a very, very focal part or imperative part for the offense moving forward.
So we were just talking about it, and there is the commitment.
There it is.
Kareem Palmer, the linebacker, has officially committed to the Auburn Tigers, choosing them over Mississippi State and Texas A&M. So guess what? We got a film breakdown coming for the members. We literally just got done saying we expect him to commit sometime soon. He said, all right, y'all got it. I was hoping he was going to commit last night, because I could have named the show something else and all that. But I knew he was going to do it either right after the show or during the show. That's okay, Kareem. 6'2", 215 pounds, out of Lyons, Georgia. The number, according to 247, they have him as the 41st ranked linebacker, the 57th prospect in Georgia. His composite ranking has him as the number 39 linebacker, the 505th ranked player in the country. Let's see. Here, this, Nick, reminds me. Tell me what current Auburn linebacker this reminds you of. Ranked as a 3-star. But let me read you the offer list. Ole Miss, Alabama, Florida, Auburn, and Mississippi State. Who's that remind you of?
Y'all already know. It's my guy. It's my guy. Elijah Melendez, ladies and gentlemen. That's my guy.
Yeah. So we just spent a lot of time talking about star rankings, how much it matters, and all of that. And then kind of talking about evals. Look, right now, Kareem, a 3-star, no matter where you look. But all these schools are on Auburn's schedule. Literally, everybody on his list. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama, and Florida. Auburn plays those teams. So you went out and got a player that other teams on your schedule were competing, trying to get. A very athletic kid, another Georgia boy. This class right now, heavy on the Georgia boys. Like that. I like that a lot. So yeah, welcome Kareem Palmer. Another commitment to the Auburn class. That makes number 7. And we'll just kind of continue to see how this thing fills out. For our members, you are going to have the film breakdown. This week, we uploaded yesterday the Gary Chapman Jr. and the Braylon Odor film review. We also have Jalen Moore, the 3-star offensive lineman, and now Kareem Palmer coming to you guys this week. We will also have a more extensive episode dropping early on in the week, either tomorrow, or we might just stick with our normal Tuesday time, discussing in more detail the commitment of Kareem Palmer and what that means for the team and the program moving forward. Guys, I trust DJ Durkin when it comes to linebacker. If you want to get those film reviews, this is the best way to do it. Support the show. $3.99 a month to get you that JV squad. $5.99 a month to get you into that varsity squad. Also, with the baseball team locking up a top 8 seed yesterday with a Big 10-run win over Georgia, back-to-back 17-win seasons for SEC win seasons for Butch Thompson, doing an excellent job as the skipper of the Auburn baseball team. We'll have all that baseball content over there for the members as well as the Tigers make what we hope to be another deep postseason run. Let's see if we can make it to Omaha this time. Last year, ran into a hot Coastal Carolina team that ultimately made it all the way to the College World Series final. Nick, I got to tell you, buddy, I've sat in Bryant-Denny. I've sat in Tiger Stadium. I've sat in some pretty hostile. I've sat in Athens. I had grown men when I was a teenager barking at me. I have never been around a bigger batch of jackasses than the Coastal Carolina fans.
Really?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What are they, the Chancellors? Isn't that what they are? The Chancellors or something like that?
Dude, some ugly bird. And it was unreal. Maybe it was just the group I was around, but it was a big group. And they were, I thought we were playing Tennessee by the way they were acting. Like, what is this? But yeah, side note there. But yeah, then level up today, man. Get all that baseball content as well over there. And these film breakdowns, continue the recruiting intel. Nash Johnson, DB, previously committed to Alabama. Yeah. I would watch that one as well. I told our members in the group chat yesterday, he's got a commitment date for July the 1st. Now, I don't know if that date holds significant value to him. You see some of these guys wait for their birthday or their grandmother's birthday, or all their teammates have a day that they're going to do their commitment, something like. So I don't know if July 1st holds any value to him, and I have no direct intel on what I'm about to say. But based off of everything that I've heard and stuff, I'd be surprised if we make it to July 1st. Unless he just has that day circled for a particular reason. Like, again, there are recruits that I want to commit on this day, blah, blah, blah.
Is that a scoop?
It could be. I feel like we're just go ahead and jump in the boat, Nash Johnson. Just go ahead and jump in the boat. And he might be like, I'm already in the boat. So we'll see. But I would definitely keep my eyes on that one. Let's get to some of you guys' comments, man. And then we are going to talk briefly about this college football playoff expansion talk. Devin says, Dustin, hope you had a nice break. I did, Devin. I did. I enjoyed it. I'll tell you what I also learned about myself. my Tampa Bay Lightning got eliminated from the NHL playoffs. And after I got done.
Did we lose Dustin? Did we lose Dustin? I think we lost Dustin, ladies and gentlemen. I think we lost Dustin. He is going in and out right now, so we're going to get that taken care of for you. But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all so much, man, for rocking with us. We are back here on the up tempo. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yes, Dustin was just talking about his Wi-Fi, and now his Wi-Fi is messing up. Hey, we might have to call AT&T, bro. We might have to call AT&T just to see what's going on. Yeah, Dustin's in there. Yeah. So anyway, Dustin, he'll be back in. He gonna get it taken care of. We'll be back in a minute. But so we're gonna talk about this college football expansion. I don't want to. It's college football expansion madness. Is it madness? We'll just give you a little bit of background. Last season, season before last, there was a memorandum of understanding that was given to the other power to all the Power Four commissioners, Jim Phillips, Brent Yormack, Tony Petitti, Greg Sankey, basically stating that now that the SEC and the Big Ten has full control over the direction of the college football playoff. Now, at that particular point in time, the 12-team playoff had just started, and now with the 12-team playoff only being in place, it will be in place this year as well. It was in place last year. The expansion to 16 is what was talked about majority of the time, and that was led by Greg Sankey in the SEC. But here's the difference. Greg Sankey wanted a 5+11 model. Basically, you have 5 conference champions and then 11 at-large spots. The Big Ten wanted automatic qualifiers for each conference. Basically, 4 for the SEC, 4 for the Big Ten, 2 for the ACC, 2 for the Big 12, and then, of course, the at-large spot for the group of 5 schools. In recent years, we have noticed that the Big Ten has won a couple of national championships. And it seems as if, I don't know if the power struggle is changing between the conferences or anything like that. But earlier in the year, it seemed as if there was a backing of teams that were behind the 16-team playoff. But it seems as if now that is moving towards a 24-team playoff now, because now the Big Ten has said we will get rid of all automatic qualifiers, and now we'll just be at large spots. And so now you're starting to hear a lot of support from Big Ten schools. The ACC and the Big 12 have now come to an agreement of saying that they support a 2014 playoff. And even in the SEC, when there are a lot of teams in the SEC that feel as if that they're supposed to band together, they're supposed to stick together. There are SEC schools, SEC commissioners. I mean, not SEC commissioner, but SEC coaches, SEC athletic directors who are saying that they believe that a 2014 playoff is warranted and would be the better option and the better route moving forward. Going forward. So I know we're about to talk about this 2014 playoff, Dustin. I was just kind of setting the stage.
Yeah, appreciate you, buddy. I got no idea what happened there. The internet crashed out.
You know, it is what it is, man. So let's go ahead. Let's take it out. Take it away.
Thank you for holding it down there, buddy. You froze first, and then I realized that I was talking to nobody, and I was like, man, I think my guy Nick's gonna hold it down for us.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem.
Professional, y'all. Nick Frazier. Round of applause for my guy keeping it. He didn't even have to break a sweat. He already knew the deal, holding it down. Yeah, I gotta get through these comments. Okay, so yes, Devin had a nice break. What I was saying was kind of drove myself crazy though. I realized how much I enjoy doing this. But you do need you do need a mental reset sometimes, and I apologize there for whatever happened. Internet went out very briefly. Probably the example that I gave this morning of internet not where I probably manifested it with my dumb ass. Tim, here's what I gotta say, dude. Your avatars, like your profile pictures, you haven't missed yet.
Have not. He
You
won't
haven't
either.
missed it. Yeah.
He won't. My
Call of
favorite
Duty one was my favorite.
My favorite one is, I think the most underrated one is the one from Everybody Hates Chris, the funeral director from Everybody Hates Chris. Every time somebody died or somebody, like if someone was sick, the funeral director would be like, tragic. But that was the most underrated one from Tim, man. I'm telling you, bro, that was so funny.
Is there a method to the madness, Tim? Is there like do you just like every couple of months you switch them up? Like what goes into the decision making process? Or you just say, you know what, I'm ready for another one. But I know that ain't who I think it is. Daryl says, them boys back at it. What's up, Justin and Nick? What's up, buddy? Appreciate you being in here, rocking with us, man. Like you always are, always have been. Richard says, isn't Arnold at UNLV now? And then Daryl says, J.A. might show out at UNLV under Dan Mullen. Wouldn't be the first QB to leave Auburn and thrive, unfortunately. Yeah, Dan Mullen, I definitely think he'll get the best out of him. I definitely think, were they Mountain West?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's a good level for him. The game at the SEC level moved a little bit too fast for him. And look, I mean, Dan Mullen's a good coach. His skill set definitely matches what we've seen Dan Mullen be successful with in the past. Obviously, a step down in competition. We'll see. You know, I wish him the best. Like he was a good teammate by all accounts, a good dude by all accounts, all that kind of stuff. So I hope that Jackson Arnold's able to go out there and thrive. I hope he didn't spend too much of that Hugh Freeze money because, boy, Hugh Freeze gave it to him. Lindsay says, late, but in here. Good morning. Lindsay, I'm late. I was late to my own show. Tell me how that works out. Appreciate you being in here, rocking with us as always. Daryl says, yeah, show me what it is. Talking about earlier, we were talking about like Auburn's got to show something here. Tim says, Dustin bringing up all the look. I hate it, but when we're talking about recruiting and is Auburn going to land this guy and that guy? It's like, man, we live in it. I know this is a tough thing for us to accept, but if you're at high school, like if I had a kid right now, no ties to Auburn, don't love Auburn the way I did, that was about to get recruited. Man, if his top three was Missouri, Ole Miss, and Auburn, Auburn's third in terms of like winning and reputation right now and all those kind of things. That's a tough pill to swallow as an Auburn fan. But that's what sucking for a long period of time will do. And that is what it is. That is what it is. I never thought the day would come where Ole Miss would be ahead of Auburn. Here we are. Our guy Tez is in the building. What's up, buddy? Tez doing a great job over there at SEC season. Go check it out. My guy Tez always has some unique content. Love his show that he does there around lunchtime. Go check him out. He does an awesome job.
The most interactive YouTube channel on the planet.
It is. If you want to be a part of the discussion, go check out what Tez has got going on. It's really, really good stuff. Tavian is here as he always is, looking super professional. looking super professional with the headshot. I see you, big guy. Glad you're back in here. We missed you. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy. It's hurt all of us. It's hurt all of us. Tim says we got to be careful looking at Sig's situation. To be honest, Saban came from the Sig coaching tree. Okay. I mean, listen, dude. He's I watched his sit down with Josh Pate, and I'm like, yes, this guy's a dog. Like he just gets it.
Yep.
I learned stuff that I could take into life after watching Sig talk for 45 minutes. He's that dude. In Indiana, like you just hit gold. I don't like you just hit. Congratulations, dude. Like you went outside, you threw the pickaxe in the ground and upspouted a bunch of oil. Like congratulations to you. 5 Adam says 98% you need a top 10 class to win the Natty. So he is still in that boat of, hey, you got to go and get those guys. And like we discussed there, 5, I agree with you. There's outliers. It's not, again, as important in my opinion, but you know, like I said, in my opinion, when the schools you're competing against on your schedule are third, fourth, fifth, sixth, or whatever the case, like, yeah, you got to go get those dudes. And I think that Auburn baseball is a good example of that. I mean, Auburn's baseball schedule this year has been absolutely ridiculous. Well, guess what? You've got Chris Rimbert and a whole host of Major League Baseball prospects. Like, you can compete because you've recruited at that level. Is 4 or 5 years enough data to flip the narrative of a trend that supposedly by over 30 years of data? If not, Tez, this is a whole show. This question is a show.
I'm gonna answer it like this. I think 4 or 5 years is enough to tell you exactly where it is heading. I think it is, or where it could be. Not to say that there won't be outliers within that time frame of moving forward, but normally data is going to stratify and it's going to level out, plateau, and you'll start to see a trend of how things are going to be and what you can almost predict how something's going to be. So that's the reason why I'm saying, like, I think if this year, this season, next season, because 2022 was kind of like the tail end of, you know, when the money and the transfer portal became relevant. So 2022, 2023, 24 will probably be your first year. So I would probably say the next 3 years will kind of tell us exactly what the trend and how this thing could potentially work and what it could look like moving forward.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, I don't have a definite answer. I'll kind of side with Nick on that one because it's man, it's when you're watching something change in real time, you know, it's just it's hard. It's hard to kind of see where it's going, where it's going to land, what it'll all be. The thing right now that makes these kind of discussions difficult about college football is it changes a little bit every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year we were talking about, is this rev share cap going to be real? Is all, you know, like it's every year it's kind of something different.
Yep.
We don't know what the rules are going to be in 4 or 5 years. So I don't know. I hope that college football finds
that is an outlier.
Yeah.
That is an outlier. What are the rules in 2 or 3 years? Like a date, a year that is very important for a lot of college football fans is 2029, 2030. Because that's when the TV contracts are up, and that's when I believe you're going to see a major shift in college football, like a major shift, like something that you have never seen before. So I think these next couple of years are going to be 26, 27, 28 are going to be, I'm not going to say status quo, but 29 seasons for me, definitely the 30 season, when those TV contracts become like up and they end, that's when the shift in college football is going. It's going to be something different. And then what we talking about now could be irrelevant.
Right.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, I'm with you. We'll definitely see how this all lands. We got to get to this playoff discussion. We don't have to, but we've already said we were going to multiple times. Nick's already teed it up. Let's get real quick. Tim did have an answer. He says, I usually switch it every week or two. They're random picture on my phone because I collect memes. I hear you, big guy. Good stuff. So on this playoff discussion, Jay Money says Big Ten people claiming they want 24 teams. And what's up, Jay Money? Appreciate you always supporting the show, brother. Says Big Ten people claiming they want 24 teams because they feel like it SEC bias on the rankings. They can't believe a team like Iowa doesn't get considered at 9-3. Yeah, Iowa with no offense. Yeah, I hear you on that. So I just have a few. We'll start here.
Okay.
Would a 24-team playoff be good or bad for college football? My answer would be bad. I'm a person that I've always kind of felt like 8 was a good number. I've always liked the number 8. 12, I didn't like 12, but I don't think it was detrimental. I was okay with 4, but 8 was kind of always where I wanted it to be. I think that for me, my concern is what everybody's that has a concern about the 24-team playoff is that And now I know there are people out there, and you'll see this every weekend. You'll see it especially on social media. You'll see people that like college. There'll be a great college game, and they'll make a post and go, they'll quote tweet the finish of the great college game, and they'll say, I don't know how you could like the NFL when this exists. And then the next day, there's a great NFL game, and somebody quote tweets that amazing finish. And I don't know how you can watch college when this exists. Really stupid. Some of us like both. Some of us like high school, college, and the NFL. Some of us like football. Now, as someone who is a massive college fan, and college football is my favorite sporting thing, but I love the NFL. I love it. I don't want them to be the same. I like them for what they are.
Okay.
The Buccaneers are rivals with the Saints. Do I want the Buccaneers to beat the Saints? Yes, I do.
Okay.
Do I care if the Buccaneers go 14-2 and their only 2 losses were to the Saints? Am I going to be like, man, I'll be annoyed that those were the 2 games you lost. But I won't care when they're 14. Well, I guess it would be 15-2 now. And the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. Wouldn't care. I don't even remember the teams that the Bucs lost to in the regular season the year they won the Super Bowl in 2020. I don't even remember. I only remember the playoff run and the wins. I remember Drew Brees' last game and how he finished out. Remember that? Walking off the field defeated. Shout out to my Ain't fans out there. But look, it doesn't bother me because we've always accepted what the NFL was. If my NFL team has the number 1 seed locked up on the final week and they happen to be playing the Falcons or the Saints, big rivals, and they play the starters for the first quarter or they sit them, there's always that whole debate the last week of the NFL season. What are you going to do? Are you worried about sitting guys and then being rusty coming into the playoffs? Do you just want to be healthy? You always have that discussion. Every team's trying to kind of figure out what they want to do. It doesn't bother me in the NFL. That's always been the NFL. What makes the NFL great, in my opinion, why I love the NFL is because it's the best coaches in the world. It's the best players in the world. Because the Hugh Freezes, the Jimbo Fishers, those cats, they were never going to sniff an NFL coaching job. They weren't even going to get their bullcrap through the door. It's the best of the best up there, buddy. When you turn on, and I'll say this now, I love college more. Like, college football is my favorite thing in sports. But just the level of play, actual football play, not what's funner, what's more enjoyable, but just the level of play on Sunday is significantly better than the college product, okay? I just had to watch Jackson Arnold start at QB, okay? Like, the product is, and I know that there's guys in the NFL that aren't good either. The product is significantly better. Those are the pros, man. Those are the pros. When you start watching guys like Mike Evans in their prime, their 6th, 7th year, when they're at the peak of their athletic ability and they understand everything about the game, that's next level. If you're ever one of those people out there that thinks that, remember when the Browns lost like 33 games in a row?
Yeah.
And Bama had won like 30-something games in a row or something like that? And people were like, I think that Alabama could beat the Browns. No. The Browns would have won by 200 points. Like, stop with all that. The NFL is what it is. But there's something that, but it's different. I don't want college to become that. You know why I like college? I like rivalry week, man. You know why I like college? Because I go to work with an Auburn hat on. I know I'm going to hear something from some Gumps. And unfortunately, I don't have any clapback right now because we ain't give nothing. There's no ammunition for me to put in the gun and shoot back at. But what I don't want to see is the product get diluted. Let's just say that in a 2014 playoff scenario, Alabama's 9-2 and Auburn's 9-2. And they're both locked into the playoff. You're sniffing glue if you think there won't be discussions about resting starters. I'm here to tell y'all right now, you can clip this, 5/17/2026. If we get to a point in college football where starters are resting in rivalry week in order to be healthy for a playoff run, if that doesn't bother you, that's fine. But what I'm telling you is that fundamentally rocks why I watch the sport. Fundamentally changes it. I'll just watch it. Then it's just AAA ball. Catch me on Sunday. I'll watch the pros then. If it becomes that, I'll quit doing the show. The moment that starters start getting rested in rivalry week to prep up for the playoff run, and all of a sudden the big game loses its juice, the Iron Bowl loses its juice, Florida State loses its juice. The moment that starts happening, and I'm not saying it does, because I don't think they're going to go to 24 teams, because I think they float ideas out, and I think this was the first one that got just such unanimous pushback where they were like, oh my goodness. And then you also kind of seen ESPN come out and say, we don't want to do this. And if ESPN doesn't want to do it, it ain't happening. That's the way of college football right now. But for me, that's really where my concern, that's why I'm against it, is because the college football regular season has always been special. It's always been its own thing. Let's go back to the kick six game. My argument would be Auburn played a playoff game. Auburn and Alabama played a playoff game that day in the Iron Bowl. That was a playoff game. And Auburn won in crazy 109-yard missed field goal fashion. They went on. They played an 11-1 Missouri team the next week. Playoff game. Ohio State that weekend versus Michigan. They played a playoff game. They didn't win. Opened up the door for Auburn. There's a thing where it's like, there's that argument that people make of, well, they're more than this. You know, if it was at 8 teams, they would say, well, isn't there more than 8 teams that can win it? We just saw Miami get in and make a push, right? My argument on that is it's not about getting in however many teams can win it. If you want to do that, hell, extend it out to 32, extend it out to the mid-40s. Make sure everybody that could possibly win it. Now, you got to earn it. It's got to mean, like, those games have to mean something. And I remember a time in college football, 2003, great example here. Auburn drops the touchdown in the end zone to lose to Ole Miss. I was a kid, but I hated Ole Miss for an entire year. I could not wait for that night game in Oxford in 2004, for that get back, because now I got to sit on it for a whole year. I don't feel that way when my NFL team loses. Let's get back right next week and let's get it pushing. They're just different products. I love them for different reasons. What I don't want to see is the regular season, rivalry week, all that kind of stuff get diluted and turn into this mini version of the NFL. Now, if you're somebody that's not bothered by, because there are these people, you know, I made this post where I said, I think 24 teams is too much. And I think ultimately it would be a detriment to the college football game. I got some pushback on that on social media. That's fine. Here's what I'll tell you. Enough people have said, hey, we don't like this, to where if you don't agree with them, and if you don't agree with me when I say that 24 teams would be too much and it would hurt the regular season, which is what makes college football great in the first place. If you don't agree with that, that's fine. But you're going to be like one of these NASCAR fans at Talladega. You're going to be sitting in the seats going, where'd everybody go? Yeah, you might not have a problem with it, but there are enough people do that you need to listen to them. You need to listen to them. College football fans have been very, very vocal about the things they don't like, about what's going on. In just the time I've done this show, I have seen interest in high school recruiting drop off a cliff. Why wouldn't it drop off a cliff? Because now people are saying, yeah, I invested all this time in caring about the recruitment of Walker White, and he never played for Auburn. I spent all this time invested in Deuce Knight, his recruitment. I went out there to Mississippi multiple times to watch him. He played one game versus Mercer. Like, I understand the fan sentiment on that. They're telling you we don't like this conference realignment. We don't like Stanford. Being
I think we lost Dustin again. I think. But he was in the middle of a very, 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 very. We lost Dustin again. He'll be back in a minute. But he was in the middle of a very, very important soliloquy about the expansion of the 2014 playoff and what it could do and what it could look like, and how it is just kind of speculation right now. Even though those speculations and those sentiments could potentially, bear fruit and be, possible in the moment. But Dustin's back. Dustin was in the middle of a very, very good, a good one. So we're gonna keep it rocking and keep it moving.
Okay. I don't know what in the world is going on, man. It's not even my internet. It's the laptop. It keeps freezing up. I exit out and I have to pop back in. So if you're listening on audio, I apologize for this disaster. I got to figure out what's happening. But yeah, obviously I got to wrap it up because my computer don't want me to keep talking about this. But Nick, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that I will continue to say this in terms of where we're at in college football, regardless of what side of the fence you fall on. The lack of foresight is why we're here. The NCAA dropped the ball 20 years ago, and you maybe didn't see the results right away. But them not seeing that Ed O'Bannon case coming, stupidity on their part. How'd you not see this coming? You really thought you could just steal people's likeness and make money off of it and not give them a cut? There's so much that's happened that could have been avoided. And that's not a hindsight. Anybody could see in 2007, 30,000 people in Gainesville wearing number 15 jerseys that don't have Tebow on the back. Well, where do you think that's going to go? Some of these kids actually go to class. One of them's going to raise their hand and say, hey,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
Hey, I think I'm getting screwed out some money here. So that's really like where we're at now. If you think that college football is too big to fail, you're wrong. Look at NASCAR. Look at the NBA. Bad leadership can ruin something good. And right now, college football doesn't have leadership. I think the pushback, I saw multiple polls that were upwards of 80 to 90% of fans that voted in the poll against a 2014 playoff. I think now they don't care. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. But I think that the pushback, how negative the feedback was towards it, I think is ultimately just going to be what scares them away. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but they just expanded the damn NCAA tournament to 76 or something like that. But like for me, buddy, it's about the value of the regular season, the rivalry still mattering, and earning it. Like just earning it. It's like, yeah, if you want to make the playoff, you went 9-3. Maybe you should have went 10-2. Maybe you should have you played your games. Now what I will say is this is a different conversation. Strength of schedule is not properly evaluated. Strength of schedule, like in my opinion, it's not properly evaluated. But that's a separate issue. Like I think there are teams like the fact that James Madison and Tulane made it over Vanderbilt is absurd to me. And I'll stand on that. But that's a separate issue. Like because you didn't get the right 12 teams. That's a different conversation. I think that 12 I prefer 8, but 12's fine. Nick, I think they need to keep it. For me personally, I think they need to keep it where it's at. And if that got a little bit janky because I got cut out and had to kind of rearrange my thoughts and all that, I do apologize for that. But just, I don't like it. It gets to the point to where it's like, I also feel like, is this what you need to worry about right now? Like, is expanding the playoff the main concern in college football right now? I think you got some other issues that you probably need to get ironed out. Or you can keep ignoring fans. But here's the point I'm going to finish up with, Nick, and I'm going to pass it to you. Now, this isn't exactly a playoff thing, but just in terms of like where college football is with its fan base, this is something that actually happened. Well, my dad is the reason I'm an Auburn fan, okay? He's never been more tapped out of college sports. The reason he gives is I can't relate to any of the players because they're not on our team long enough. He doesn't like it. Now, if you do like it, if you do like the turnover and all that, but that's fine. But what I'm saying is when you ignore a longtime fan's voice, a guy that's a customer, a guy that's paid thousands and thousands of dollars over his life to attend college football games, who now says, I'm checked out. We were at the Iron Bowl. My dad looked around at all the Cam Coleman jerseys. This was before kickoff, Nick. He said, 30,000. This is the exact comment he made. He said, 30,000 Cam Coleman jerseys in here, and this is his last game he's going to play at Auburn. It's exactly what my dad said. There was a lady that was right in front of us that was wearing a Cam Coleman jersey. She kind of turned around and made a little snarky remark. Something to the extent of she knew Cam and he wasn't going to leave Auburn or something like that, right? I know how I taught him in school, something like that. And, we weren't trying to start nothing. I'm like, okay, we hear you. War Eagle. Hope we win. Have a good night. I don't think it's a healthy spot for the sport when an old head, a 40, 50-year-old fan of the sport can sit there and say something like that and ultimately be correct. And again, if that doesn't bother you, that's fine. But if you're ignoring the voices that are telling you, I don't like this, this has gotten out of hand, you're going to look up. Some of you might be too young to remember. I'm telling you, NASCAR used to be the second most popular sport in America. There used to be waiting lists for Talladega. There used to be waiting lists for Daytona. You go to Talladega now, and they are out front trying to give you the ticket. Please come inside. What they did was they kept making decisions that took them away from the core of their fan base. Did they lose all their fans? No. But a big enough chunk was loud about, we don't like this, we don't like that, we don't like this. I can tell you all this. I know some people comment saying they used to watch the NBA. That's cool. My entire friend group, we quit a couple of years ago. We went from league pass, group text every night. Did you see this game? Did you see that game? To just not watching it because the product is, quite frankly, pathetic and unwatchable in a lot of people's opinion. If you love it, that's cool. But look at the ratings. Look at the numbers. They speak for themselves on these kind of things. You can't ignore massive sections of your customer base. In any business, if your customers come out and say, we universally hate this, and we hate this, and we hate this, and you just keep going down the path they hate anyway, where's the breaking point, Nick? Because for the first time, I have people in my life that are tapping out of college sports. I'm not, okay? I still love college football. I still love college sports. I still love Auburn more than anything sports related. I'm about it. I love it. Can't get enough of it. But I am seeing people, particularly the older crowd, become just disengaged with the sport. And I'm going to repeat myself again here because I don't know if I cut out or not when I said it. The day that I see Auburn's starting quarterback or Alabama's starting quarterback sitting out of the Iron Bowl because they already have a playoff spot locked up will be the last day of the Uptempo podcast covers college sports. Because then it's not what I wanted. Then it's not what I love. And we'll just talk about the NFL the next day. Because how many podcasts out there talk about AAA baseball? They don't. If it just becomes AAA, if it's not different, if it's just another product, if it's just the same thing, if we take away everything that makes it great, and it's just another form of football that's just not professional, I'll just watch the professional. So I don't want, this is not like a doomsday thing or nothing like that. I think college football is going to be fine. I think they're going to figure it out. I think that the NCAA was terrible. Lack of foresight put this sport in a bad position. I don't think that everything is as bad as even I may be making it sound right now, but I'm just trying to outline some of the issues that people do have, put a voice to some of those things, and saying that it can't be ignored. And I think that the 2014 playoff, in my opinion, is just too much. I think 12 has worked well, and I'm man enough to admit that I thought that 12 was going to be too much, and I was wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the 2014 playoff will be the best thing that happened to college football. But in my opinion, get it right in terms of measuring strength of schedule. Get it right. Don't get in James Madison and Tulane as some kind of participation award type thing. Like, have a real 12 teams, and then I'm okay with that. Like, boy, as Auburn fans, we would have loved that in 04, right? We would have loved our shot. So we would have loved that 2017. But in the end, man, in my opinion, I think 12 is a good number. I think doubling that to 24 would be absolute absurd. Some people would kind of ask, like, what's your cap? I think once you get past 16, it would probably start to be dangerous, in my opinion. And I don't even want to see it go past 12, but 24 to me is just way too much. I think it would dilute the product. I think it would take away from that angst when you wake up on a Saturday and you're like, boy, my team has to win today. Because I don't feel that way for a lot of the NFL games, right? Like, if my team's having a good year, we can drop one here or there. You still cheer. You still want it to be a thing. And again, I accept that with the NFL, and I still love it. But when we start but if they start becoming the same exact thing, and you take away what makes college different and unique, that's where me and a lot of people have their issues. I said a lot there, Nick. I said a lot.
Some things you said, I'm with you behind. Some things I like the challenge. I like to look at everything in a 360-degree view. And what I'm noticing about this conversation when it comes to the 2014 playoff,
and I want to say this real quick before you get started. If I edge out again, Nick, just finish us off.
Okay, all right,
just,
cool.
Close us out.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna take long. I'm trying to be as quick as I possibly can.
No, you go. I'm not rushing. I'm saying if I freeze out again, I'm just gonna call it.
I got you. What I'm noticing is that when it comes to college football, and you kind of alluded to it, is that fans have a emotional attachment to these teams, But when it comes to the NFL, it's almost like this is just a business. And I think the perception of what both products puts out exudes a emotion from the fan base. When you look at the NFL is all about, you hear them say this all the time, the NFL is about the shield. We're going to do everything we can to protect the shield. Off rip, subliminally, dog whistle, what they're saying is, this is a business. Like, we are a business. We are a for-profit business. We are here to make money. The football game is a byproduct of the entertainment part of us making money. That's what they're saying. We're going to do whatever we can to make sure that bottom line and that profit is in the black every year. And to the credit of the NFL, they have done that. In college football, that's different. Fans want to go to a game and they want to feel something out of the game. They want to be able to be like, man, I had a great time at the game. My team beat that team. You mentioned it about rivalry week and things and stuff of that nature. But if I were to say, would you agree or disagree, or are you indifferent to the statement that says that the customer is always right?
The customer singular, I would say, I've had jobs where I've had a dumbass customer or two.
Okay.
Customers. Okay. If one person in line is complaining, he might suck.
Okay.
If 10 people in line are complaining, might be something our business is doing.
Okay. We talk about the NCAA a lot, right? But I think that we put emphasis on things that we find, like we said, that we find perceived value in, or the one that has the biggest amount of noise. And in this case, the one that has a lot of money behind it. When you go to Division II, in college football. Division II has been operating in a playoff format for the past decade or more. You know, they've had a 24-28, and I think they just expanded to a 32-team playoff. And that is something that I believe all the schools wanted, you know, in Division II football. And there have been exciting games in Division II football. There was some exciting games this past season with Montana State having a great run in the Division II playoff bracket. So when we say that the NCAA got it wrong, I can't automatically go to that point. So when it comes to the formatting part of it, when it comes to the name, image, and likeness part, I agree. They did get it wrong. Players should have been paid 20 years ago to a degree. I agree with you there. But Division II has always had Division II football, Division III football. All of them have had a playoff format for a number of years.
How many Division II regular season games have you watched?
I've watched a couple. But see, I'm different though. I'm different. Yeah. I just like football. Here's the thing. I like watching football. I will watch any football that is on or anything of that nature, and it will be perfectly fine. It does not matter to me. I will watch Montana State. I will watch Missouri State if they are on. If it's good football,
they're D1 now, baby.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, they D1. But if it's good football, I will sit there and watch a game and be like, oh, okay, this is good. This is really good. Now, I'm old enough to remember that bowl games, when people were saying, man, you are rewarding a lot of people for going to bowl games for winning 6 games, it feels like a participation trophy. I'm old enough to remember a sect of fans saying that. And I'm old enough to remember a sect of fans saying at that particular point in time that they would have loved to see a playoff to where there is one common goal of winning a national championship where there are multiple teams that have an opportunity to win. I'm old enough to remember that conversation at some point in time in the past. But one thing that this does is it takes away the regionality of the game. It does. College football is too big. The one thing that is in favor of the NFL is only 32 teams. It's only 32 teams. So it is easier in that system to only have 14 teams come in, and you potentially can see a wild card team go from being in a wild card weekend to being in the NFC or AFC championship game. Fun fact, it has happened in the past decade at least 5 times. So 50% of those NFC, AFC championship games or something like that has had a wild card opponent that just barely made the playoffs get to that championship game, that AFC NFC championship game. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe one of them made it to the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. So I get it. I understand it. I'm on the fence about this one because me personally, I would like to see it at 14 teams. I think 14 is cool, but I also can see an argument for 24. I also see an argument for 24 teams. If the sport is about inclusion and not exclusion, and actually finding the real team that can actually win and compete for national championships, I can make an argument that the way that it is set up right now is artificially favored for the teams that are consistently at the top. When I talk about the teams that are consistently at the top, I'm talking about the Georgias, the Ohio States, the Oregons, the Alabamas, those teams. They will always be in that conversation, and they will always be in that national championship college football playoff conversation. But when you look at a team like Ole Miss, made a run last year. Like, people don't like that. Like, people talk about the Cinderella teams when they talk about the tournament, right? They're like, yeah, it's a Cinderella team. But apparently they don't like it in college football. But maybe this team is just good. Maybe this team's good. What would have happened if Vanderbilt would have gotten the playoff last year, which I believe they should have been? If Vanderbilt would have gotten the playoff last year, would Vanderbilt have made a run in this bracket. If this was a 16 team or a 2014 bracket, would they have made a run in this championship? And would we have been having a different conversation? And how would that have elevated the brand of Vanderbilt as a football program?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I look at it and I say, if this is about inclusion and not exclusion, then yeah, why not expand it? Why not?
So my pushback on that would be, one, for these coaches and these ADs that are trying to get it to 24, I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, if I get it to 24, it's a bigger chance for me to get in the playoff and better for my job security, right?
Of course, yeah.
I would tell them that if more teams get into the playoff, then making the playoff won't mean as much, right?
But we but we do it for college basketball. We do it for college basketball. We'd be like, all right, you made it to the Sweet 16. Like I remember having this conversation. Me and Ted had this conversation on Water Cooler. And it led to the show after the show. We had the conversation about what is it if you make it to the 2014 playoff, at what point in time when you say that, because, well, let me preface this. We prefaced it by saying that now one of the things that's going to be on a coach's resume is the fact that they made the playoffs. Even in the 12-team playoff, this coach was a playoff coach. This coach made the college football playoff. So if this coach decides to entertain the job market when the season is over with, he can say that, guess what? I am a college football. I took a team and I played in the college football playoff. Okay, I did that. But in college basketball, you don't do that for the first rounds. It isn't until you get to the Sweet 16 where you be like, this coach made the Sweet 16, or this coach was an Elite 8 coach. This coach made it to the Final Four. Then this coach won a national championship. So if you do that for the 2014 playoff, yeah, you'll still have those games at the beginning. Yeah, you just made the playoffs. That's good. You just made the playoffs. But at what point will we look at coaches and be like, oh, this coach made it to the semifinals. He was an elite. He was a group of 8, whatever superlative you want to use for that for that coach at that time. So we do it for college basketball. But because it's football, there's a problem with just making the playoffs. But we don't say the same thing for college basketball.
Well, there's over 300 Division I college basketball teams.
True.
So there's 200 plus more teams.
But we still, but even teams that just make it to the weekend, like they just make it in the first round, we still don't give them the credit. So why would we still give those teams the credit that are just making the college football playoff? We still say that coach or that team was a Sweet 16 team. That coach or that team was an Elite 8 team. That coach or that team was a Final Four team.
Right.
Why can't we say the same thing for college? For college football, that team made it to the Final 8, or that team made it to the Final Four of the college football playoff. Just because they made the playoff doesn't mean it's the same thing with the wild card weekend in football. Just because you made the wild card doesn't necessarily say that you're gonna make it past to the divisional round and potentially to the conference weekend. That doesn't mean anything. You just made the playoff. You just a wild card team. You barely got in. You own the bubble. Something else had to happen in order for you to get into that part. So why can't we do the same thing for college football?
We could. Yeah, we definitely could. And if it's, the NCAA tournament's been going on forever, so we've watched it happen. We kind of know what a good run looks like and all of that. We're still, like we've talked about a lot on this show, we've done a lot of like trying to look forward, right?
Yeah.
In this show in particular. So what would it all look like in the future? I don't know, man. You raise a lot of good points there, and I agree with you on that. Would it be like Josh Pate always has a saying when people say this guy's overrated or underrated, and he always says, well, sometimes they're properly rated. like he uses James Franklin as the example.
Mm-hmm.
Well, James Franklin kind of is a properly rated. Like, he's a really good coach, not quite elite. So yeah, does it become one of those things? If you go to 24 teams, then in 10 years, you have a bunch of data points that you can point to and say, okay, this is kind of the way the 2014 playoff works. if you make it to that Final Four, then that's worthy of a banner. Like, what's worthy of a banner, right? For college basketball, to your point. Do you hang a banner for a Sweet 16? Do you hang the banner for the Final Four? Like, kind of, what is it? Yeah, a lot of great points that you bring up there.
I just think there are a lot of subjective superlatives or subjective things that we look at for each different sport. It's almost like in college football, it has to be an absolute. Has to be. It has to be an absolute. You have to do this. But in college basketball, I made the Sweet 16. If I decide to leave this school and go to this next school, I'm gonna get at least $500,000 to $1 million extra in my contract as a coach. It's not that absolute in that sport, but it's almost as if like in college football, there is an absolute. And I get it. I understand people that feel that way, because to a degree, I feel that way. You want an absolute champion, and you're gonna get one every single season. But the way that it's talked about, as if this coach in college, like, and trust me, I'm talking about two different things here. So in my mind, I just need people to understand what I'm doing. But the way that it's talked about between this sport and this sport, even with the format that it is, it just seems as if like, okay, he just made the playoffs. Well, you say that about a lot of coaches in college basketball. He just made the tournament. You said that about a lot of coaches that don't make it to the Sweet 16. Because I know a lot of people that don't watch the tournament until the Sweet 16 happens. Because that's when they look at it and just be like, this is the most important part of the game. So You're still going to have those casual fans, and even in the 2014 playoff, you still probably just going to have those hardcore fans that just want to watch and see what happens and see what team can make a run and things, stuff like that. But most casual fans, which is a very big percentage of it, it's not a lot of hardcore fans that are watching shows like these every single week, and stuff like that. So to the hardcore fans, I understand your feeling, and I understand your sentiment around. But there's a large swath of casual fans that are looking at it and just saying, yo, who's playing in the national championship game? And I'll watch that.
I would be very cautious I would be very, very cautious if I was leadership of college football to make that group of people the people that I cater to.
So, okay, but at some point in time,
because if you lose the base and all you got's the casuals who just want to get on FanDuel and make a bet, and that's the only reason that they want to watch, and they don't actually love ball, then it'll last for a little bit, but you're going to look up and you're going to see half empty stadiums if you cater to that crowd.
But to your point, they're already doing that. ESPN Bet is already a thing. BetMGM is already a thing that's being pushed with these games. Like, our partners to shows like these and to shows like ours, and to people that want to do it, they're already doing that. So they're already catering to that percentage of fans, because they know, I'm pretty sure there's some mathematicians or somebody they're looking at this and saying, there's a reason why viewership ticks up at this particular point in time in the season. There are not a lot of, as much as, and don't hate me when I say this, there are not a lot of hardcore college football fans out there for real. I think there are a lot of casual fans out there. I think there are probably more hardcore NFL fans than there are hardcore college football fans. One for the particular fact is because there's just so many teams. So, like, exactly in the state of Alabama, right? You have Auburn and Alabama. Then you have two schools underneath them that are Division I program, FBS programs in Troy and South Alabama. You got a lot of people that graduated from those schools that still root for those schools. But because Auburn and Alabama are the bigger schools, they pick one. They pick one and things, stuff of that nature, and look at it from that perspective. But they still gonna cheer for the schools that they are alumni of, and things, stuff like that. So I look at it from that perspective, but they can go to an NFL team. To your case, you a Buccaneers fan. You are going to ride and watch everything Buccaneers. I'm a Panthers fan. I'm going to listen and see what the Panthers do in the draft. How is it going to help? I do that. I think there are a lot of hardcore fans like that. I just think in college football, we look at the perception of saying that there are a lot of hardcore college football fans, when in actuality, a lot of them are probably just casuals.
Yeah, and that's tough for anybody watching right now to understand.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
because if you're watching right now, then you're like, who are these idiots? Like you're not right? You're not that person. Yeah, you're 100% right. Our numbers reflect that, right? Like we know that here come about August.
Now, when the season starts, guess what?
Yeah.
People want to see.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think that for me, it's a fine line where you get to where I'm going to really start getting tapped out and not caring is if I look around and Ohio State and Michigan are resting starters and Auburn and Alabama are resting starters. And, I got a comment on a post I made about this on social media. And somebody said something to the extent of, I hope they expand it to 32 teams so we can get rid of meaningless bowl games. That I read that and I almost threw up all over myself because like, I'm just going to sound like an old man here, but I don't care. Bowl games used to not be meaningless, and bowl games used to be tiered to the kind of season you had. If you went 8-4, then you earned yourself a Liberty Bowl appearance.
Outback Bowl, baby.
Yeah, and
Music City Bowl.
That didn't have to be a bad thing. I remember the year that Auburn went 11-2 and beat Nebraska in the Cotton Bowl.
Yep.
Look, I hate that we dropped it to Arkansas and Georgia that year, but the Cotton Bowl is a very prestigious bowl. At the time, like pre-playoff era, that was a huge deal for Auburn to win that game, to finish with 11 wins, to win the Cotton Bowl over a historic program like Nebraska. It was tiered to the kind of season that Auburn had. Like, it made sense. So I always liked the old bowl system. If you didn't, whatever. But you weren't going to go – if you went 6-6, you were going to the Birmingham Bowl. You weren't going to go to the Outback Bowl, most likely, or the Capital One Bowl. You had to win 8-9 games to go to the Capital One Bowl, right? 7 might get you a Gator Bowl, the Music City Bowl. Like, it was tiered out.
Yep,
so,
sure was.
So I always loved bowl season. I mean, now it's definitely with the playoffs, it's kind of made it, you got guys started to sit out and all that kind of stuff. But under the old model, I never thought that bowl games were meaningless. I thought that they were tiered to make sense for the kind of season that you had. And it was an opportunity to go out and play a game versus an opponent that you probably wouldn't normally play and get a trophy and have something to kind of take home. Because, yeah, you went 9-3. That's not good enough to make the national championship, but it might be good enough to play another 9-3 team from a different conference in a Capital One Bowl. And if you win that, you get the 10-3, and there you go. Like Auburn dropping the Outback Bowl to Minnesota, Bo Nix's freshman year.
Yep.
That was a gut punch for me because I was like, man, I won. I'm sure a lot of y'all, not just because you wanted Auburn to win, but I was like, man, that would have been a nice bowl win that matched the kind of season that Auburn had. Like, it all would have made sense to me. I would have left going 10-3 with an Outback Bowl win over, I think, another like 9-win Minnesota team. I think they won 9 games that year. It would have all made sense. So now that, I know now that the bowl games, they are kind of meaningless in a lot of ways. Don't tell that to Auburn fans who just want to see Auburn win a bowl game.
That's it.
We won't be crying that if we win one this year for sure.
Man, I'd be happy as I don't know what.
I'm telling you, brother. But it's a really fascinating discussion, Nick. I think that my main argument, my main pushback against it, with the caveat of I need you to get the playoff teams right. So I'm okay with it staying at 12, and they're obviously not going to cut it back. I'm okay with you staying at 12 if you get the right 12. James Madison and Tulane, not the right 12. I want to be done with automatic conference bids. I want to be done with automatic bids, period. I want it done. I want the 12 best teams. If they just pick the 12 best teams based off of resume, then I'm good.
That's subjective. Very subjective.
It is subjective. But what's not subjective is that James Madison was going to get the shit kicked out of him when they played Oregon. We all knew that. That was ridiculous. Don't tell me the Colorado Vanderbilt wouldn't have given you a better game. They would have. And they went 10-2 playing an SEC schedule. They deserve that. So I'm against the 2014 playoff because I think it would dilute the regular season. And I think that the regular season is special in college football more so than any other sport. I am a big fan of other sports. Massive NHL fan, massive NHL fan. I love my Rays when it comes to Major League Baseball. It does not, those sports are different. Even college basketball, you play 30-something games. You can drop one on a Tuesday night at the hump, and it didn't kill your season.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if you played them tough, kind of a wash if they're a good team. Kind of like, you lose by 2 on the road to another tournament team. You got RPI and all that. We could have a whole show about that, Nick. I want to see all that stuff. I want to see all that. We got it in baseball. We got it in basketball. I want to see all those kind of measurements in football. I think the strength of schedule needs to be measured properly and is not being measured properly in college football right now. It is subjective, but there's some common sense here too. Common sense told us Tulane had no business in that thing.
No, I agree. I agree.
We got to have some kind of common sense to all this.
I think a Tulane JMU national championship in a group of 5 would have done numbers. Like, that's my thing is, I think there is nothing wrong in college football with there being a tier system of playoffs. So there's no, I don't see a problem with there being a Power 4 playoff, there being a group of 5 playoff, Division 2 playoff. I have no problem with that, because to your point, there at that time of playing, in totality, the level of competition is different. Now, yes, Byron Brown did play at USF, and we all feel like Byron Brown could play in the SEC and be a very, quality player in the SEC and compete. But in totality, the level of competition and the level of talent in that conference of football, or that level of football, is different than what it is in the SEC. I agree with you there. I agree with you. So I'm not opposed to there being Power 4 playoff system, Power 4 champion, Group of 5 champion, and potentially a Division 2 champion, and then potentially every 4 or 5 years, you have a regulation period to where teams move up and down, depending on the success of a program. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it would be a hard sell to a lot of people, but I don't have in sport, I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. This is a really fun discussion. We could probably go for another
hour,
another hour talking about all this. Man.
We didn't even hit Lane Kiffin.
Boy, they're gonna have to wait. I'm gonna tell y'all what, though. I'm gonna say it right here, right now. And it's gonna be a shock to some people, because I've been accused of being a closet LSU fan on this show. Yes, I have. That's gonna be a disaster. That's gonna be a disaster. That whole tenure is about to be a silly disaster. Man. When somebody shows you who they are,
believe them.
Maya
Angelou.
That's who this cat is. They can do all the documentaries they want. I do not care. They can try to paint himself in all this light about how he's changed and this, that. Man, let me tell you something. Nick Saban, in the playoff, the week of a playoff game, said, I can't deal with this man anymore.
Oh, man.
Now, I'm not going to pretend like Lane Kiffin is not an offensive genius. He is. He is an offensive mastermind. He will dial it up, go get Trinidad Chambliss and dial it up, and all that kind of stuff, right? Never would I say his play calling sucks or that his scheme sucks. He's one of the best when it comes to all that. What I don't understand is all of the hype and all of the discussion around a guy with 0 playoff wins. I've got people that say things to me like, do you think Dan Lanning's a good coach? I'm like, based off of what? Well, he hasn't won a natty yet. Okay. Man, compare resume, Dan Lanning, Lane Kiffin. Come on now, this ain't even close. We spend so much time. We talked about Ryan Day. If Ryan Day was going to get fired, every year he was going to get fired because he hadn't won a natty yet. All this discourse about Ryan Day. We just watched James Franklin get fired for one bad year. Meanwhile, the whole college football world continues to talk about this one guy who's got 0 playoff wins. And if you want to tell me, oh, well, I mean, he would have won some. Well, you quit on your own team. So I don't even give you that. The only reason you don't have any playoff wins, most likely, is because when you finally did make it, you said, yeah, I don't want it. Look, really frustrated at Steve Sarkisian and Lane Kiffin because y'all are making me defend Ole Miss. But just ridiculous stuff from both of those guys this week. Lane, shut up, dude. Shut up. But you know what? It's not going to, this is the most toxic combination of people. Like, I'm sure that in your friend group, you probably have you probably know a toxic person. You're like, this is my buddy, but he's a little crazy.
Oh, man.
And you probably have your old lady's probably got some friends where you're like, that one's a little nutty. Imagine those two people getting up and trying to start a family. That's what we have here. We have the most toxic head coach I've ever seen in college football with one of the most, and they're great, and I love them. They're awesome fans. But lose a couple of games in Baton Rouge. I got some people in my life that are LSU alums. I'm telling you what they're expecting this year.
National championship?
National championship.
I knew it.
Not, hey, Final Four, man. No, national title contention.
I had a feeling.
And when they go 7-5, 8-4, this gonna end in disaster. I'm telling y'all, this is not gonna work. I'm not buying it.
I'm with you, man.
I'm not buying it. The combination, Lane was in the best spot for him, man, because Ole Miss had never won nothing, and they would put up with the antics. And hey, if they drop a disappointing game to Kentucky, guess what? They still look up at it and they say, hey, we're still doing better than we've ever done before. Yes, that was a disappointing individual performance. We were better than Kentucky. But in the aggregate, in totality, we're doing much better than we ever have. Cool. That's not where he's at. So they're going to get mad at LSU when you lose. They're going to get real mad when you've talked trash all week to that team on Twitter and then you lose. Because they don't like losing. No SEC powerhouse does. But you know what's worse than losing? Being a clown and losing. Taking your headset and saying, get your popcorn ready. And flipping it. And then getting drilled, dude. And then getting drilled. That ain't a death sentence in Oxford. Oh, that's a death sentence in Baton Rouge. It's a death sentence in Baton Rouge. If he did that, if he does that kind of stuff at LSU, they are going to eat that man. And then got drilled, Nick. Wasn't even in the game. By the time my popcorn got done popping, they were already burnt. They were done.
Oh my God. And she was trying to ask him another question as well when he did it. And he just ran off.
Buddy, you gotta win by 30 points when you do something like that at LSU. They are going to eat him alive when that kind of stuff inevitably happens.
Oh my God.
In terms of his actual comment and what he said, none of that mattered, Lane. You said none of that when you were in Oxford. And to pretend like any school in the South doesn't have skeletons in the closet is ridiculous. And I understand the history at Ole Miss, and I understand the history of the state of Mississippi. Lane, you were just there for 6 years or whatever it was. You never said a word about any of that. There's no big-time recruit. Just you miss me with all of that.
And the fact that he had the opportunity to leave and go to other programs at the same time in between that time.
Yeah, you stayed at Ole Miss.
Exactly.
Instead of going to Auburn when
exactly
the offer was extended. So it wasn't an issue then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, Lane Kiffin and Vanity Fair. Welcome to May. Well, welcome to May in the college football space. But I mean, entertaining, I guess. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see how all that plays out. I just got this feeling like it's not gonna go the way they want it to go in Baton Rouge. We've been going for 2 hours. We're gonna keep going here for a little bit longer because we got some of you guys' comments. Nick, big thank you to hanging in here with us on this super long show. I said to hell with it. If it's been 2 weeks since we've gone live, let's go all day.
Good.
Tez says it's casual fans can be marketed to in a way core fans can't. These things that just can't be sold to core fans.
That is a true statement.
Yeah, and I 100% understand like seeing, oh, there's more customers out here. There's more dollar signs. Let's see how we can get them into the fold. What I would say is you have to be careful in that and to not lose your core. Because once you do lose the core, once you do lose your actual base, then when all you have is the casuals, good luck with that. I mean, just good luck. It's not going to work out for you. And college is at the point. The last thing that happens is you stop watching. Like I had years of complaining about the NBA before I finally quit watching it. It's the last thing that you do. It's going to take a whole lot. I'm nowhere near stopping liking college football. But what I'm saying is there's enough noise. There's enough people saying, hey, we don't like this. Hey, we don't like this. There's enough of that to where if it completely gets ignored, they're going to regret it. And that's just a business thing, in my opinion. That's just like if you just have enough customers are telling you we don't like the direction things are going, I would grab a hold of it and maybe kind of get it back to what your core base kind of wants and is used to the best you can. Things always change. I understand that, but if you just keep going down that path, man, it's a bunch of little things. It's a bunch of little things. You start slapping logos on the 25 and then on the helmet and then on the. It's not like one thing. It's a million things that can add up to where people just kind of say, you know what, this is not what I fell in love with anymore.
Death by 1,000 cuts is what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, there's not gonna be like one big move. It's just a lot of things, like death by 1,000 cuts, where eventually you look up and you're like, this isn't the same thing that I fell in love with. Why am I still so engaged? And the first sign of that is the drop off in interest in college high school recruiting. There used to be an entire industry built around high school recruiting.
February was a day.
That is going away. Now, is that detrimental to the sport of college football? No, it's not. But it was a big portion that kept a lot of people engaged and all that kind of, you know what I'm saying? So like when you start chipping away those kind of things, I would be careful. Let's go get the casuals. Let's go get them. Let's show them how great our sport is. Let's bring them in here. This is a lot of fun. It's not that you're not welcome, but let's be careful as to just do of selling our soul to get them in the door. Devin says college sports has a different, more intense passion around it. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people, it definitely does. There's just something about going into that stadium, like go back to the SEC West days. I knew Auburn LSU. I knew what it was about to be. There was a certain feeling that I had on LSU Day. That feeling was dictated a lot by what the result was the previous year. So yeah, there was a specific passion, Devin, around that. Around we play LSU every single year. This is a massive rivalry. Maybe we lost last year. You remember? I mean, every other year we were going into it. We've got to win in Baton Rouge when that whole streak was going on. We've got to, and it brought out this passion. And it was why when we finally got it done, while we were all smoking cigars and everything like that, it was just this passion that was built around it. That does exist in pro sports as well. I would tell you that look at the injury list. Whenever a hockey team gets eliminated from the NHL playoffs, look at the injury list.
Okay. There
are guys out there playing with broken feet, torn fibula, like torn shoulders. Like it's kind of ridiculous. You're like, what were you playing with, brother? You playing hockey with that? Like, so there's definitely passion in other sports. But Devin, I'm with you. Like, there's something very unique about Saturdays in the fall, particularly at I I want to say the SEC, but like just blue blood programs. Ohio State, Michigan's like I'll go outside the SEC as well, right? There's just something about that generational passion of like, man, my dad was a fan, and my pawpaw was a fan, and now that's why I'm a fan, And so, and then like in terms of like the state of Alabama, you've got the whole you work with your rival, and you go to family dinner, and half of them like this team, and half of them like the other. So yeah, that intense passion, Devin. And I would say a lot of that in college centers around the rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people overlook how much rivalries mean to college football. And I think that they're making a mistake in doing that. SEC season, my guy Tess says, damn, I'm old. You were a kid in 03? Yeah, I was in the 6th or 7th grade. 6th or 7th grade in 03. Yeah, but 2004, really good year. 2003 wasn't the best year for the Auburn folks. 2004, got a little bit of a better turnaround. Brett says USF and G Sugar Bowl, Mazda Gator Bowl, Florida Citrus Bowl. He names all the bowls. He says he misses all of them. 100%. Yeah, I mean, look, I always was a big bowl game guy. Tez says, as regionality declined, so did the allure of the bowl games. Yeah, excellent point here.
Yep.
I mean, you go back and watch like the old. They're gonna start playing them here on SEC Network once baseball season ends. They'll start playing the old games from like the 80s and early 90s. I know this era is gone. I know it's gone. But there was something cool about go watch an old Auburn LSU game. And they do the starting lineups, and 90% of Auburn's lineup is from Alabama. And 90% of LSU's lineup is from Louisiana. And it gave you this kind of feeling of like, our boys today are going to go play their boys, and we're going to see who's better. And, so, yeah, now that's gone with the whole regionality thing. I mean, you've got teams in California playing in an Atlantic Coast Conference. So regionality is definitely cooked, but it was a big part of college football that for me made it really entertaining and made it fun to watch. And it still is. I don't want to, this isn't doomsday. I think college football is going to be fine. But some of these things, like Ted said in one of his earlier comments, it's a healthy discussion that needs to be had.
Yeah.
I hope not 5, Adam. I hope not. Because, again, you talk about things that make people tap out. If I see 7-5 in a playoff, all right, man. I'm like, okay. I don't know if – am I have to expand out bigger than 24 for 7-5 to get there?
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope not. I hope not.
You won't see that. You won't see that. Yeah, at worst, you're probably like an 8-14.
Yeah, and that'd be pushing it. Jay Money says Big Ten people claiming they want 24 teams because they feel like it has SEC bias on the rankings. They can't believe a team like Iowa. Oh yeah, we put this one up already. Yeah, but good point there, Jay Money. And the SEC bias ranking argument, Vanderbilt doesn't. They would beg to differ.
They had to play. They had to play into that though.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Vanderbilt was like preseason ranked like top.
Right. Yeah.
They had to play into that ranking that they got. So I don't. That's interesting. I still think that the top teams in the conference are always gonna get that respect. Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma. Ole Miss probably is gonna start creeping into that discussion. Will be there, but yeah.
Ted says SEC or college football will be fine, just a healthy conversation. Yep. And like these conversations have to be had.
Yeah.
They have to be had. Now's the time to have them. Now's the time to have them. I'm sure there's going to be some comment that says, I thought this was an Auburn show. It is. It's also May. 5 Adam says, I like NBA because all 5 positions can win MVP and the best player in your team rather than QB winning MVP and Heisman.
Shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He just won back-to-back MVPs in the NBA.
If you say so. Shout out to him.
Oklahoma City about to win.
I don't even know who that is, guys.
Shai Alexander, bro.
Where do you play college at?
Where did Shai? Where did he play college basketball at? Somebody in the chat help me out. Where did Shai Alexander play?
If he didn't play Auburn, I don't know him.
No, he didn't play at Auburn. He didn't play.
I know he did. That's what I'm saying. If he didn't play in Auburn, I ain't got any idea. No. And like backstory, played basketball my entire life, all the way through high school and everything. Like that was my favorite sport. Like I love basketball. the sport. But in terms of where it's at right now and league and all that, different discussion for a different day. Kentucky. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, that's an interesting reason, brother, to like a league because of the way they decipher your MVP. But to each his own. For me personally, my frustrations with the NBA come from the amount of player movement. Like the Kevin Durant to Golden State thing was a big thing that kind of turned me off.
In the words of Stephen A. Smith, the weakest move in NBA history. How you go to the team that beat you? Yeah. They were down 3-1 and they beat you in the conference finals the year before, and you join that team. In the words of Stephen A. Smith, the weakest move in NBA history. I just
no, you did a pretty good impression.
I just had to put that out there. That's what that
yeah. Yeah. Stephen A. Yeah, for me, man, it's just lack of physicality. It's become a free throw contest. The game has gone to this like spread style concept to where everybody's got to be able to shoot, and that's cool. I get it. Games evolve and all that, but some people like the positionless basketball. They're big in no 4, they're big in no 5. I always liked kind of having to work towards a basket. The mid range being considered a bad shot is kind of it's just a wild thing to me.
I would never understand that. Yeah. I would never understand.
So just a lot of where basketball has gone, just not for me. I think that Adam Silver is the worst commissioner that I've seen in my lifetime. I also don't feel like the NBA wants me to watch their product, but that's a different discussion for a different day. I don't feel welcome in NBA circles anymore. LeBron James made it kind of clear that I wasn't. 5 Adam says, I'm not getting into it.
I'm so confused right now. I don't know where they were going. I'm trying to think what happened. I don't even know what happened. What happened?
Just a lot, bro. It's just like watching James Harden play basketball is disgusting. I can tell you the moment I quit watching basketball on the NBA, okay? Brandon Ingram was guarding James Harden, right?
Okay.
And I loved Brandon Ingram.
Okay.
I loved him since he was at Duke. I loved his game. He's guarding James Harden. He's perfectly positioned, right? Using his long wingspan and everything that he brings to the table. Harden goes all around the 3-point line. I'm at the game. I was in New Orleans. This was 2020.
Okay.
He goes I'm at the 4th row. He goes all around the top of the key. Can't get nothing to happen. He gets frustrated with like 5 seconds on the shot clock. Takes the ball, his arms, swipes them in to Brandon Ingram's arms, and he gets 3 free throws. I looked at my little brother and I said, we'll stay for the end of this game. But I'm at my limit with this garbage. So yeah, that's a whole thing. Okay. Just know that I used to love the NBA. Big Kobe guy. Brett said, Dustin, I'm thankful that you got me into the NHL. I love it. It's my second favorite sport now. Likewise, NHL ratings are up over 100%. NHL playoff ratings are up over 100%.
PK Subban.
He ain't played in a while, but
he hasn't. I just had to throw that out there.
Yeah,
shout out to PK Subban.
He does a decent job as an analyst.
It's a decent job.
Yeah, there's he's all right. He's a good hockey player. Yeah, dude. The NHL's incredible. Hockey's booming. The league that the local minor league team here in my city, they are adding 2 more teams to their league. They're adding a team in Mobile and they're adding a team from Athens. Everything about the metrics of hockey is booming up. And there's a lot of reasons for that. So
Athens, Georgia?
Yeah, Athens, Georgia. The Athens Rock Lobsters will be joining the SPHL.
What?
The logo's sick, dude. It's like a lobster playing a guitar, but like the top of the guitar is a hockey stick.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool branding for sure. And that
I think Mobile are going to be the Mystics again.
Yeah, I think they're going to bring back the Mystics. They're going to bring back the Mystics with the awesome new Civic Center they're building. It's going to be great for the city and everything like that. There'll be a nice little Pensacola Mobile rivalry going on. They're going to call it the Battle of the Bay. So they're going to have a logo for it and kind of market it and everything. So
that's what's up.
Man, it'd be cool. Yeah, hockey's absolutely booming. I've always said this, there's a massive portion of football fans that don't know they're hockey fans because they haven't been exposed to it yet. If you like watching a wide receiver get lit up coming across the middle,
oh, you love hockey.
You're gonna love hockey because they actually fist fight, and then they just go sit in the box for a couple minutes and then come back out and hit each other again.
They let them fight too. Fight.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. So yeah, yeah. 5 Adam says I'm already not watching more NCAA because of playoff expansion. So he's already kind of becoming disillusioned with the products. Lindsay says great pop culture reference. Only some of us get it. I'm not sure which one. We're going for almost 2.5 hours here. I got no idea.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, I've said a lot, Lindsay, but hey, thank you. Devin says it's so sad. I can't even get excited about getting a player jersey because I don't know if they will be here next year. Yeah, get it when they're on their last year of eligibility.
Go get you the Deshaun Womack jersey right now.
Right now. Get your Byron Brown jersey. He's not going to play for anybody after this. Now, South Florida fans would have the same complaint.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, man. Wait till a guy like Jarquez is in his senior year, and then go get that number 27 jersey. 100%. The Jarquezes, the Jalen Simpsons of the world, they're still out there, and we love them for sure. But yeah, Devin, I hear you, and that's a thing where it's like building relationships with the players. That's another thing about the NHL is there's not a lot of player movement in the NHL. So like your scouting, your drafting, your player development is going to be super important to how you build your franchise. And as a Lightning fan, there's like 8 to 10 guys on the team that have been on the team for a decade. Like there's a relationship here, right? So like I love these guys because I've watched them for a decade plus. Like Andre Vasilevsky has been my goalie for over a decade. So college sports already had a small window of like 4 to 5 years max to build that relationship.
Yep.
Now that it turns over every year, you very much got to be in love with the logo. I don't think that that's healthy in the long run for the sport. I understand why we are where we are, and we could go on all day about how to fix all that, but it is something that is definitely an issue for a lot of fans, 100%. To my Cam Coleman point earlier, whether you agree with what he did or not, the fact I feel like it's a problem for college sports that my dad sat there and said that before the Iron Bowl kicked off, and he called it 100%. Like, I don't think that's healthy in the long run, but, you know, again, then somebody's going to counter back and say he should have been able to have the opportunity to go to Texas, and I agree with all that as well. So, you know, massive conversation. Yeah, dude, I don't know what was up with the laptop today. I do know. When I logged on, it said it needed to update, and I hit remind me later.
That's what it was. That's all it was.
I didn't know how long the update was going to take. And then me and Nick spent 15 minutes talking about aliens before we even hit record.
Should have did.
And there we go. I probably should have spent that time updating it. Yeah. We'll update the computer when we get done for sure. The great value internet strikes again, says Lindsay. I gotta cut Spectrum some slack. It wasn't Spectrum today. Spectrum today. It was a laptop today.
That was good right there.
Normally it's Spectrum that's the issue. Because I'm out here in the boonies and they're the only people. AT&T's installing lines right now.
Fiber optics.
But we'll see. We'll test all that when they get done. But right now, I can't wait. Right now, I got one option. It's Spectrum. But I am going to give Spectrum the benefit of the doubt. This one was not on them because my internet's been fine the whole time. I'm the dummy that didn't turn on his laptop for 2 weeks and then turned it on today and ignore the update. That's on me. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we got a clown. He's back. He only leaves clown ass comments, and here he is. Penn State Sports Talk 2477. Last time we saw this guy, he was talking about Auburn's basketball team losing a game.
Oh, I remember him.
And then we Googled it, and Penn State was like 0-10
I remember this
Big Ten basketball. So yeah, what are you yabbering about? Auburn needs to focus on winning a recruiting battle versus us first, and not the playoffs. Have you ever seen Gangs of New York?
I have. Yes.
You know when the butcher goes.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah.
What in heaven's name?
Yeah.
Are you talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, real quick, man, without trying to like dumb down my IQ to figure out what you're talking about. There's a running back on Auburn's team, Alvin Henderson, that was committed to Penn State, that Penn State wanted. I would say Auburn won that recruiting battle. There's a quarterback right now in Peyton Falzone that Alex Golesh came in, was committed to Auburn, quickly reviewed the tape and said, we don't want that guy. And then Penn State took him back after he was committed to Penn State. He committed, came to Auburn. Then when Auburn said, we don't want you, he went back to Penn State. So I'm not like, those are just a couple of examples. So what was Penn State's record last year? Like this is a really weird thing. I will give you, I'm a scoreboard guy. So I'm going to give you that when Auburn, that you called us with Brian Harsin and you went 2-0 versus. But yeah, this is a weird troll, man. This is a weird, I don't even know what you're getting at. And I don't think that Penn State athletics is in any spot to talk down to Auburn. So I would just chill, man. I would just chill if I was you, because you don't have any ground to stand on. But everybody hide your kids. The Penn State fans are around. SEC season says, I don't think the number of teams matter as much. I think it's how those teams are chosen. Yeah, 100%. I'm okay with 12 if you give me the right 12. But these automatic bids and G5 and this, that, and the other, I ain't trying to hear it, bro. I can't. Mm-hmm. The people who spend the money are who they're catering to. Yeah,
Yep. That is it. Slugged up. That is it.
Slugged up, Durkin. I'm be honest with you, brother. I like the DJ Durkin with the grill profile pic a little bit better. But
is that supposed to be the snowman? I think it's supposed to be the snowman. Okay. It's supposed to be a Jeezy reference, if I'm not mistaken. Slugged up. That's what I'm thinking.
He's doing some really cool stuff right now with like the orchestras and all that at his concerts. You seen all that?
Yeah. Every time he does his anniversary for TM 101, which is one of the greatest albums to ever hit this planet, by the way. I suggest you all go listen to that album, TM 101, Thug Motivation 101, by Young Jeezy. Came out in like 2004, 2005. One of the greatest albums to ever hit this planet. Go take a listen to it. You'll learn something.
Those shows he's doing are awesome. But yeah, they're going to spend the money to they're going to cater to those. That's life, that's business, that's how it goes. But again, be careful, because there's a massive base of people that also spend a lot of money that are your core base, that I think there's this perception amongst college football elites that they'll always be here. Look, they're right in this. It's going to take a whole lot for me to quit watching. It took a whole lot for me to quit watching the NBA. It took a whole lot for the people around me that I knew that were big NASCAR fans to quit watching. They didn't just snap their fingers one day and go, I'm done. There was conversations that were leading up to it. Like, man, I'm tired of this. Man, I don't like this. Man, I don't like this. So I would just be careful as to chasing the quick buck might leave you in the long run with no money.
Fair point.
Some of these bowl games are more hyped than playoff games. Pop-Tart Bowl is one of the greatest. Dude, Pop-Tart Bowl, the marketing is genius.
It is. Yes, it is.
They're brilliant. Like, whoever's running that thing over there is absolutely brilliant. If Auburn does not make the playoff, I want to be in that Pop-Tart Bowl, baby. I want to be in that Pop-Tart Bowl. I got no idea why Notre Dame didn't want to participate in that. It's the Xbox Bowl. They were bad teams in it, but they did an awesome job of marketing that last year as well. Some really cool stuff with that. It seemed like with the Snoop Dogg Bowl, I think they did some cool stuff with all that. So it's a new age.
Mm-hmm.
You see you see some of these bowl committees being creative in the way they're marketing their games, and I think that's the way to go in the future. And the Pop-Tart Bowl was like the shining example of how to do that, and it's quickly become the bowl game you want to go to if you don't make the playoff, and or if you're not a bunch of whiny babies like Notre Dame. All right, let's see. I think that's going to be it for today, Nick. Nick, you have a pretty big announcement. I know that you've already made it over there on your show, but do it right here on this show. Some big things coming up for the Water Cooler Talk podcast. What's going on, my guy? What you been cooking up? You teased us a couple weeks ago. What you been cooking?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've announced this probably like a week and a half ago. The Water Cooler Talk Sports Network is expanding. You know us for having our Monday, Wednesday, and Friday shows. By the way, starting June 29th, that's going to go down to just Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, starting June 29th. But we are expanding the show lineup. Ladies and gentlemen, starting June 29th, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. The pregame playlist will be a part of the Water Cooler Talk Sports Network. Can I put that up on the screen? Can I?
Yeah. If you can, I will.
Let me see.
I got you.
There it is. The pregame playlist, ladies and gentlemen. Your morning, your sports, your playlist. It's a new morning experience. This is something different that we are trying to attack here at Water Cooler Talk Sports, man. We're going to talk sports, of course. We're going to talk culture. We're going to talk music. We're going to play some music. We're going to have a great time, man. It is going to be a fun experience, man. We want you all to make us a part of your morning routine. 2-hour morning show. 2-hour morning show where we're going to sit down, have conversations. It's going to be segmented out to where it'll be easily digestible. But we're going to have a great time, man. And we want you all to come make us a part of your morning. We want you all to press play on the pregame playlist starting June 29th, 2026. Your morning, your sports, your playlist. Water Cooler Talk Sports Network, man.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, man.
Let's go. June 29th. So you can be at work, you can be in the car, you can do whatever, and just put Nick on and chill. Man, really, really excited for this. The growth that you guys have made in the last year over there.
Man,
it's been awesome, brother. It's been awesome to see. So, yeah, really proud of you, buddy. Really excited to see what you got going on here. So June 29th, you guys tune in. Nick doing something different here. Nick doing something different.
Yeah, this is different lane. This is something that you have not seen on with sports and culture and music together. This is something different. So I don't know what the reception is going to be to this. I really don't know. I really don't. I don't know how people are going to receive it, but hopefully when people see it and hear it and they understand the concept, they like it and they make it a part of their routine. So, man, hopefully this is something that a lot of people take a liking to, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome idea, buddy. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for everybody over there at Water Cooler Talk, and I know that you guys are absolutely going to crush it. So June 29th, be there, be ready, and we'll talk about this, as we get closer to it. But, man, mark it on your calendar, and it's going to be a big year for us here at the Uptempo Podcast.
Yes.
It's going to be a big year at the War Report Podcast Network.
Yes.
Mike and Ike and those guys, I'm telling you, they're going to continue to crush it. They're going to have their best year ever. We're going to have our best year over here at the Uptempo Podcast. Nick's going to come over here, and he's going to crush it and going to have his best year ever over there at Water Cooler Talk Podcast. I think everybody in the Auburn space is sitting here wondering, what will this whole Auburn podcast scene look like if we actually start winning some games?
Man, who you telling?
Like,
who you telling, man? Who you telling?
It will be fun. It will be fun, and I think it's going to happen. I've been on record here. I don't think that Auburn's going to make the playoffs this year, but I think you're going to see a bowl game. I think you're going to see somewhere around 7 to 8 wins, and I think it's going to be the best year that we've had doing the media stuff here. And it's going to be the most fun that Auburn fans have had in a long time. A few more comments before we get out of here. Tim says, Dustin, tell the people that wanted Lane at Auburn, they wanted him bad, but it would have been a train wreck. It's been a train wreck for Lane at some point everywhere he's been outside of FAU.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that one kind of makes sense. Like, FAU just knew this is a little pit stop for Lane. So I don't think they had any massive expectations. And if he did anything crazy at FAU, you probably weren't going to hear about it because he was at FAU. But yeah, like, it would have been a train wreck. It's going to be a train wreck. I think he was in the best spot for him. And I think he's going to look back on that and regret this move. Could be wrong, man. He could go to LSU and he could absolutely crush it. He could absolutely crush it. He could take just a step, one more step right? But again, I would argue he got Ole Miss to that point and then bailed on them. So I don't know. Trying to figure out Lane Kiffin is just, like trying to figure out Kanye West. I think it's a futile exercise. So
he's not the genius that Kanye West is, though. At some point,
no. And look,
he's not the musical genius that Kanye West is.
He is not. And do not think that is a shot at Kanye West, because he might be. he might be the most played artist on my Spotify when we get to the end of our wrap up this year. The new album, bro.
Okay.
I'm a big Kanye guy in terms of music, but I think it was Cat Williams.
Yeah, we gotta make that distinction.
Music.
That's it.
Okay, music. Like Cat Williams said, I would never look at a basketball player and wonder why he doesn't score hockey goals.
Good point. Hey. That's good.
That's what he said. That's what he said in terms of Kanye. That's what I'm gonna say in terms of Lane Kiffin.
That's good.
At this point, I'm not looking at Lane Kiffin and expecting him to be anything other than Lane Kiffin. Tim says Auburn beats LSU and that fan base is going to crash out. Tim, I reserve the right, obviously, to the season to play out a different way, injuries to happen and all that kind of stuff. But as we sit here today, I've got Auburn beating LSU at home. I do.
We're talking about that tomorrow on Water Cooler, on Around the Cooler. We're going to be previewing that game.
And I would encourage, respectfully, be respectful. Don't throw golf balls or whatever they're going to end up doing to him in Oxford. If Lane makes it to the Auburn game, if he gets out of Oxford that third weekend of the season, I think Auburn beats them. And I would encourage Auburn fans that as he's walking off the field, to politely serenade him with your kind words about all the things that he has said about Auburn over the past few years.
Oh, man,
he has had Auburn's name in his mouth, or I should say at his fingertips, for quite some time, and it hasn't made much sense. So yeah, I'm with you, Tim. I'm with you, and I know if an LSU fan catches this, he's gonna be like, big LSU hater. I'm actually been accused of being an LSU apologist from a lot of Auburn fans because I like LSU. But in terms of just like what they bring to college football, I've always had fun going to their stadium. Like,
so is LSU your second team in the SEC?
Nah.
No,
my second. I'm gonna say South Carolina.
Mine is Mississippi State.
Okay. For me, it's because we don't have any beef with South Carolina, right? Like, there's no beef there, and I admire their fan base.
I don't know why it's Mississippi State. I just like Mississippi State.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, we've had too many battles with State, so
I agree.
I agree. Like SEC West and all that. But and hey, man, Stephen Garcia,
great quarterback,
great quarterback, and he recently announced that he's battling cancer. So, man, shout out to him, in that battle, in that fight. Really enjoyed watching him play football for the Gamecocks, had some battles with Auburn, and, hopefully he's able to come out the other side of that. So, Stephen Garcia, man, good luck in that battle and everything like that, and thinking and praying about him and his family and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, South Carolina, man, because I admire Williams-Brice. That's one stadium I haven't been to that I want to go to.
Okay.
And 3-6, 3-7. They have a big game. They're sold out in their screen.
They sold out, yeah.
And I got love for that, and I respect the heck out of that for sure, because we see that as Auburn fans. So for me, I've always my grandma always had chickens, so I kind of just kind of always liked them. Let's see. Tim says that's good, Dustin, because those hockey jerseys are fly, but I got thousands of dollars in hockey. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's actually like my little collectible hobby is hockey jerseys. So
okay.
Yes, they are expensive. The really nice ones, the really rare ones, very expensive. But to your point, Tim, it's money well spent, because when you walk in somewhere with a fly hockey jersey on, people take notice. Slugged Up Durkin says, yes, it is. Y'all were talking about Jeezy versus T.I. Oh, my goodness. A while back, and Nick had me feeling away, switched it up for a bit. Okay, I'm not
You know
mad
what?
at it.
You know what's funny about that snowman? A lot of people don't even know what they were wearing on their shirts.
didn't.
They did not understand. They really thought it was. And I think people to this day still don't understand what that really means. But okay, all right.
Yeah. Well, they can figure it out or not. It's Christmas.
It's
Yeah.
Christmas time, man.
Merry Christmas. Merry
Exactly.
ATL Christmas.
Exactly.
I gotta say, I'll put my input in on this real quick. In their heyday, no, I like Jeezy. Okay.
Okay.
Had the album. Thug Motivation 101 had the CD.
One of the greatest albums of all time.
Probably played it so much that it skipped, that it got scratched up. That and the AT Aliens, I had them things rotating, right?
Okay, Outcast. Okay.
Yeah.
Aquemini. So you take an ATL over Aquemini? Oh, you got to think about it, ladies and gentlemen. You got to think about it. Wait a minute. Tez, where you at? Tez in the chat. Tez will tell you which one he taking.
AT Aliens.
Okay. All right. Okay.
But I love the art of storytelling.
Okay.
Like, so that made me go, but yeah. But on this particular battle here, in their heyday, I was a big T.I. guy.
Oh yeah, man. You can't doubt Rubber Band, man. Hey, Rubber Band, man, King, trap music, man. Come on. He had a run. King right before he went to jail that first time. Paper Trail, like all that. Hey, T.I. was that dude. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, young T.I. Slugged Up says these schools figured it out and banned.
I remember in middle school, that album came out when I was in 6th, 7th grade. And I remember back then, people got to understand, we used to wear Jabot jeans and long white tees, like tall tees. Or you used to wear like a tall black tee. And every dude in that school had a snowman shirt. And the people didn't like the administration did not know what they thought it was just like a regular until they found out and we couldn't wear them no more. They put us in uniforms. Like literally the next year we had to start wearing uniforms.
That's crazy.
Since so serious.
I want to ask you this. Did you went to high school in Mobile, right? In the Mobile area?
No, I'm from Tuskegee. We went to high school in Tuskegee.
Yes, right. All right. So yeah. All right. So you live in Mobile now. So yeah, so this is a good distance here. In this time period, I've always been interested in this, like because he was big, but I've always felt like how big he was in Pensacola. I always wondered if that was everywhere. Dude, I'm telling you, from like 2006 maybe to like 2010. In Pensacola, it was either Boosie or Zero. When I tell you like Zero had a hold on Pensacola, there was a lot of Zero and Trey the Truth going around.
Houston. Okay, then. All right.
There was a lot of that happening.
Houston influence in Florida. That's interesting. Oh, Trey the Truth is from Houston, ain't he? I believe.
Yeah. They all are. Yeah, there was a lot. I mean, there was a lot of Mike Jones and UGK and all of that, Chameleonaire, all that.
That was Swisher House. That was when Swisher House was like Paul Wall was big at that time. Yeah. That makes sense.
Dude, so it's a funny story real quick, and we'll get out of here. We were talking forever.
Hey, we missed 2 weeks. We got to get it out.
We got to get it in. My mom called me the other day, and she was like, she goes, "Do you want to go to the Paul Wall concert?" And like backstory here. Me and my mom are gonna go see Travis Tritt in a couple months.
Okay.
So like, we listen to everything, right? Like, there's not a genre of music that me and my mom don't listen to, don't go to concerts for. I said, Paul Wall, Mom. I said, where's he gonna be? She said, Texas. I said, with all due respect to the People's Champ, I'm not going to Texas.
I like it.
Hear Sitting Sideways.
I like it, man.
Maybe if he was at the Soul Kitchen, or maybe if he was at the Vinyl, or somewhere that I could get to in a reasonable drive.
Oh man,
I would do it. I said, Mother, I am not traveling to Texas for 2 songs.
That is great.
But my mom's cool as hell to even make that phone call. Love you, Mom.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
All right, man. So, yeah, y'all be tuned in for June 29th, everything Nick got going on over there at Water Cooler Talk. And, yeah, that was a commitment today. Yes. There was a commitment today that we are definitely going to have a film review for our members. So be on the lookout for that. We'll have a whole episode discussing that and breaking that down. Nick, I can't imagine there's nothing that we didn't talk about here, but you got anything before we get out of here?
Man, no, man, I appreciate y'all so much, man, for rocking with us here, man. Shout out to Dustin for always giving me the opportunity to come over here every Sunday and sit down and talk football. We talked a little culture today, man. Talked some music. That was fun. It's been 2 weeks. I had Mother's Day last week, and then the week before that, I was I didn't make it back home in time. So that's what it was to be on camera. So, but we back, man, and we'll be here getting ready to take you all on into the season and through the season, man. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim says, great stream, gentlemen. Hit that like button. Absolutely hit that like button. If you are listening on audio, leave a 5-star review. And I guess I'm going to have to chop up this 3-hour pod. Or I might just upload the whole thing to one. Whatever. I don't know. I do apologize for disappearing there mid-thought a couple times. It is what it is. The computer needs an update. But yeah, love you guys, man. Awesome show. Appreciate you, man. We got up to 100 in this here live stream on a random Sunday in May. So cannot thank you guys enough for and then even when we kind of veered off of the football, you guys stayed in here and the crowd stayed the same. So man, love you guys. Appreciate y'all. Again, film breakdowns for your members, baseball talk for the members coming up. And Tuesday, 10 a.m., the next episode of the Uptempo podcast drops. We will be talking about the newest linebacker commitment. And maybe some more will pop between now and then. They had Big Cat yesterday. You never know. So we'll check into all that, man. Love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Follow Nick over there, everything he's got going on. Follow me on X at DMXShaw28. And I'm assuming that there's going to be a weekend tailgate here in about an hour or so. Y'all know the deal with that. Be there with Mike, Ike, and the boys over at the War Report. Tune into everything they got going on. Obviously doing an awesome job covering all things Auburn football. I love you guys. I thank you. Nick, 2 hours and 45 minutes. Time is valuable, buddy. You can't put a price on it. Thank you so much for yours, my guy.
Always, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. War Dan. We'll see you on the next one. We're out.